Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. We're going to kick this thing off. My name is Raheem. You know, I'm not important. I'm just a fellow. I'm just the question asker. That's what they call me, the question asker. But we have with us this morning, right now, we have Badger. Good morning, Badger. How you doing this morning?
Good morning on this beautiful day, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And morning, Glow fam.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me see who else we got here. I think I heard somebody else just come in. Kay, we got Kay with an E. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, blessed.
And now can I can I tell everybody about that thing you just sent me? What it say?
Sure,
Huh? I can tell them about it.
sure.
It says something about
Yes,
60. It says 60 and still fab, still fabulous. 60 and still fabulous. Let's talk about that. Now, what's going on with this 60 and still fabulous thing?
I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
I still have my ability. I'm very blessed.
Yep.
50 years. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have no complaints.
There you go. There you go.
And I'm thankful. I'm
Mm-hmm.
thankful. I'm thankful. I'm thankful.
There you go. There you go.
And
What?
he kept me. He has truly kept me.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't crippled. I
Mm-hmm.
ain't got no broken bones. I ain't ugly. I'm blessed.
There you go. Come on. Come on. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. Let me see. I'm gonna send my man this thing here as well. Now Badger, how does it feel to be 60, brother?
What do you mean 60? I'm not quite there yet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know it, man. I had to throw that in there. But I need
Feel
to
like
ask.
it some days.
Hmm. I need and see my thing is this right here. It's absolutely a blessing, man, that God allowed us to be here. You know, I'm not 60. I'm not 60, not yet. But if I keep living, I get there. But it's a blessing that God keep us. And I tell people, even one more day that He keep us. Just it's just
Mhm.
one more day. It's a blessing because we can't certain things we can't do on our own. We can't do. I think I just lost. Oh, we just lost Kate. Hopefully she's gonna call back in. But Badger, that's the thing about it, man. We can't certain things we can't do on our own. We can't do, and that God allows us the opportunity, man, to be blessed and there she go back. I think that's her calling back in there. She got fancy. She got fancy with her phone. Kate get fancy with her phone sometime. Um,
Really?
but God, he allow us, man, to, and we're not gonna be all preachy this morning. So y'all don't worry about that. We're not gonna be all preachy.
Yeah.
But my thing is this right here, that God keep us, man, and give us another opportunity to right what we did wrong the day before. Give us another opportunity. That to me, that's an absolute blessing.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that every moment we're given is a blessing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because it could be taken away.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's just something to be always thankful for because I guess that's the wild part about life,
Mm-hmm.
you know, is in every moment you're playing Russian roulette.
Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm.
It's just, is it going to be loaded or not loaded?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. K with an E. If you're anything like me, if you're anything like me, and I believe that you are, I made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes in this thing called life. Man, I made a whole lot of mistakes. And that God allowed me an opportunity to get it right and to fix what it is I did wrong and to go back and even have an opportunity to apologize to people that I have wronged. Because in this thing called life, man, sometimes you wrong people. And intentionally or unintentionally. But God, He still give you that opportunity. K with an E, talk to me. What about that but God moment?
That but God, guess
Yes.
what? I didn't hear everything you said because that call comes
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, that but God moment, but God. I was in a situation where I could have lost my life, but God. I was in a situation where I could have lost everything, but God. I was in a situation where people turned their backs on me, but God. I was in there's so many but
Let me
God
tell
moments,
you.
huh?
Let me tell you about the but God moment. I had one. I've been paying on this light bill. They ain't gave me no assistance the whole pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what the heck? What's going on? I know I automatically approved for it. So I was like, I don't got time for this. I just been paying my own bill.
Mm-hmm.
So I just prayed about it. And I said, Lord, I just want zero balance by April.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want. Like, I don't care what else you want me to do. I'll do it. Just give me my zero balance. I prayed to get the water bill under control. It's under control. Like I said, under control. And so I woke up Monday, like, I got to pay on this light bill again.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I don't want no problems. So I called the people at the light company. You know, the lady wasn't at work yet. And she called me back and she said, well, I can set the arrangement up for you. And I said, okay. She said, no. She said, you got a pledge for $636. I
Mm.
said, well, then that's cool. I said, that's cool. I can make the pledge. I can make the pledge on the rest of it and it'll be $0.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wow.
I said, so send me up on a payment plan and I'll be $0 by April because
Mm.
I'll pay it every week. She
Mm.
said, okay. She said, well, Kay, I can't put you on that payment plan. I said, why? She said, you got another pledge for
Mm.
$1,142.
Wow.
That's zero balance out. Everything plus gave me a credit.
Mm. Look at God. Look at God.
But God.
Mm. See, that's what I'm talking about right
Can't
there.
nobody do that but God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
My
see,
daughter, let me tell you now, he ain't through with me.
mm-hmm.
My
Come on.
daughter's daughter is 12 years old. And the principal and the teachers, they just been bullying her. Two students been bullying her. Finally, she's out of the school. She's doing virtual again, and she's loving it.
Mm-hmm.
She's a straight A student.
Mm.
They had her to do this assignment, and it uncovered her daddy that was the kingpin of the Colombian cocaine ring thing. And
Wow.
so, and she didn't want to do it. And so they made her do it. And ever
Mm-hmm.
since they did it, that's all they've been doing is harassing her. And so they told her, black straw was, she called her mom and said some students was trying to jump her. The principal's right there and called the parent. They didn't do nothing. And so when they got us to the school because I didn't go. I already been bored from the school. Because I told the principal, I'll smack you. It's not a secret. I told my daughter, I didn't tell him, I told my daughter, let me leave you in here because I'll smack him.
Mm-hmm.
And I left because he was
Mm-hmm.
talking about her upraising. Well, I
Wow.
raised her.
Yeah.
And I got something to do with my granddaughter's raising. And
Mm-hmm.
she ain't disrespectful. When I tell y'all, I put it on the prayer line. That when I got off that prayer line, my $1 million friend called me and said, "You sent me a petition. I don't want to just sign it. I want to do more.
Mm-hmm.
Get your daughter on the freeway." I
Yeah.
got her on the freeway. When I tell you the very next day, she went to the Kansas City Call paper and did an interview with Mr. Eric, the school board superintendent. We've been calling him for a year or 2 years. He called her back.
Mm.
Now, when I tell y'all, God is good.
Yes.
God is good because we've been going through this and we've been trying to file complaints and all kind of stuff. Like literally, my other grandbabies been took themselves out of school.
Mm.
I don't want to go to this school no more. Like that means like it's crazy though. Like these kids do got feelings, and this is what TV teach them.
Mm-hmm.
He said the principal picked him up one day because I guess he just was trying to remove him from one room and he wouldn't leave the room, so he picked him up. He told the principal, "Put me down. You like boys."
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And
Wow.
I said, "He got that from TV. He
Mm-hmm.
got that from TV, but he can see."
Yeah.
And I just think it's horrible. But God is good. She got, when I tell you that ball bouncing and rolling and doing all kinds of stuff, because when God get in it and you take your hands off of it, it ain't nothing you can do with it no more.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like she done went public with it and everything. So yeah, y'all probably see it nationwide because that's principal and that's the staff. The staff, everybody in on it. And it's just horrible.
Mm. Mm.
And we want to know what's wrong with our kids.
And see, the thing about it, a lot of times people don't pay as much attention, and some things will get by them because they don't pay enough attention to realize that the children are going through something. because of people. We sometimes so caught up in our own world that we don't pay attention to the children and what they may be going through, or even have a conversation with them to find out, where they are, what's going on with you. We don't do that. Sometimes, a lot of times, we don't do that, and that's the problem.
When I tell you, when I tell y'all, parents have called her off of Facebook and
Okay.
said, my daughter was going to that school and I removed her for the bullying. They
Mm-hmm.
did this, they did that. She got so much support,
Mm-hmm.
just came out of nowhere.
Wow.
I'm like,
Wow.
this is amazing. The students
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook have been hitting her up. We got your back. We're going to support you. They not right, but they parents ain't believing them, and
Mm-hmm.
they have to stay at that school and go through it.
So what's the next step? And I want to go to Badger as well. But what's the next step?
Court,
Mm-hmm.
the principal filed a report and said that she threatened them. One day they closed the school down, had all the kids in the cafeteria or the gym somewhere, talking about she was going to come and shoot the school up.
Who
It was
said
on
that?
her birthday. She was at home sick.
Who they say said
It's a
that?
mess. It's a mess.
Mm. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And can't nobody but God straighten that out.
Mm-hmm. Badger, what you think about that?
Which part?
Pick one.
You got to help me out here, man.
Mm-hmm. 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 She's talking about the situation that's going on with her child. Badger, were you listening, brother?
I mean, when it there's so many schools that have bullying and all kinds of things like that that it's I have a lot to say. I just don't know how much of it's going to be polite on radio.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
Um, I to me the schools are schools. Um, when it comes to you know somebody liking same sex, I have an issue with people passing judgment on them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so now as far as the school accusing her of doing things, they need to go to court.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that stuff is simple to me. Just if it's false accusations, especially something to that degree, then they need to go to court and hold that person responsible.
Mm-hmm.
That's spreading. What's the word? What is the term for that? When you're slander.
Yeah, slander. Mm-hmm. Okay. Good job.
So, more of what my brain was going through was like the societal issues.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the fact that the people that are okay with that kind of stuff. So I I think it's so hard to raise children right now, especially young children,
Mm-hmm.
because depending on who they're around, they're surrounded by some kind of hate or animosity or something of that nature. You know, you got people saying they don't like being who they are, so there's a lot of self-worth issues going on. There's a lot of confusion going on. Some of the TV shows are a bit crazy, even for even for me. I'm sitting there going, I don't like. What in the world is this?
Mm-hmm.
So women, some families are struggling because they're having to work 2 or 3 jobs because once again, it comes down to living wage and healthcare. They're not. It's hard for them to be home, but it's
Mm-hmm.
their fault because they didn't go to college or they couldn't succeed in college and stuff. Well, I guess they shouldn't have had kids.
Mm. Wow. Wow.
I mean, to me, that's just I would rather those people that work hard and doing their best to raise their kids right to have kids than you arrogant, judgmental human being have them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That's good. K with the E. I'm gonna switch.
I'm here.
I'm gonna switch the subject up just a little bit for a second because I was watching when I was getting dressed this morning. I was looking at the news, and they said that there was another shooting going on. There was another shooting where people get. I'm trying to remember. I think it was in New York. I think it was. I'm not 100% what it was, but they captured a guy and said he was out shooting homeless people. I'm sure y'all probably seen it on the news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was out shooting
It
homeless.
was New York.
It was New York. Okay, yeah, he was out there shooting homeless people, and they say that his family. They captured him. They got him. They're saying that his family is coming to his defense, saying that he has a long history of mental illness, and that's one of the things that sparked him to doing the things that he did to the homeless people. Now, how rampant in America today? How rampant is this thing called mental illness?
You know what? It's scary. That's how rapid it is because we got people that's just like that. The
Mm-hmm.
family knows that you have a series of this, but
Mm-hmm.
instead of them keeping you close and getting you help, they let you just out there and let you wander, and it ain't safe. It
Mm-hmm.
ain't safe for the person, and it ain't safe for the community.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible, and I think it just I couldn't have a family member. Oh, he had mental illness problems. He live out there somewhere. No, they be like, "Can he stay with you?" Yeah. Can she stay with you? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
A young lady came to me and she has mental illness. And
Mm-hmm.
she came over here yesterday and she said, I'm about to go over here, put my stuff away. Can I come back tomorrow? I told her yes,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm gonna pray her out of that situation.
Yep.
And she got a mental illness on top of trying to smoke PCP. And I
Mm.
told her, you got too much class. You come over here with your nails done. I said, girl, God got better plans for you. Because if he
Mm-hmm.
didn't, you'll be looking raggedy like some of these other people look. And you
Yep.
don't even look like that. If I didn't know what you was doing, I wouldn't know what you was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
she got family. I just found out who her family was and everything yesterday. I called her uncle. I'm sitting here talking to this young lady, it's your niece. He knew just who she was.
Mm.
And he
Mm.
was happy that she done ran into me. Because I'm going to change her. I knew her
Yeah.
mother. I said,
Mm-hmm.
girl, I was at your mom's funeral.
Mm.
You got to do better than that. You got a nice vehicle and everything. You go to work and everything. You don't have a mental illness. You're accepting a mental illness.
Mm-hmm. But
She just,
see,
I told her, you can't. She's nice. So you going to change all that. So
mm-hmm.
mental illness is serious. And then you got people that ain't even diagnosed.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
the worst. Because they
Mm-hmm.
ain't been diagnosed.
Yeah.
So they in denial. I ain't
Mm.
got no mental illness. You do. Well, you got to be started somewhere from
Mm-hmm.
your past or something
Yeah.
because you can't act like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know everybody else is normal. Something's going on within you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's
Exactly.
temporary it is. And people just let people wander around and don't never try to help them. The next thing
Mm-hmm.
you know, they done something. They done killed somebody. Now they where? They ain't in jail. They go to a mental hospital where
Mm-hmm.
you could have been done took them because they been needing that help.
Mm-hmm. But Badger, what do
That
you?
guy went from Washington to that guy went from Washington to New York, killing homeless people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. And see that there's something wrong there, and there's something that needs to be that should have been diagnosed earlier because now you got all these people that's dead, innocent people, if you will. Badger, what do you say about that, man? This mental illness situation, man, is it as bad in America or the world as people say it is?
I think in some ways, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, here's one of the things I get told frequently. You know, here's this abusive parent, right? Cops have been called on them. They refuse help, and the system turns their back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can't make them. and it's not bad enough to take the kids away.
Mm, mm.
Oh wait,
So,
she's killed one of them. Now we need to step in and save the others. We're doing a good deed, y'all.
mm-hmm.
So what kind of mental illness are you talking about?
There's many different levels of and that's the thing right there, and that is I think a piece or a part of the problem. There's different levels of mental illness, and a lot of people, if they don't not if they're not diagnosed properly, if they're not diagnosed properly, or explain what the level is, and sometimes even put on some kind of
So
medication, and people say, hold on, and people say that people they need to be on medication. I don't always agree that medication is the best way to go. I don't always think that it is the best way to go, but so many people feel as though they need to pump their medicine on them and put their medicine in them, and that's the solution to the situation. Again, I don't always agree. And that is the best way. But go ahead.
I, yeah, that's not always the best. So I kind of want to share some of my personal life on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I sit here and I watch my wife deal with her what she struggles with every day.
Mm-hmm.
There are two things called dopamine and serotonin that our body uses to regulate mood.
Mm-hmm.
One is primarily kept in the gut, one is in the mind. I mean, both of them are used in the mind. It's just they're kept in different locations.
Mm-hmm.
And when people have physical issues, so due to our living situation, we have applied in every way, shape, or form for help
Mm-hmm.
for her to get testing. So when the COVID stimulus packages came out, we used a majority of that to get her tested. So we paid these few $1,000s for testing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she shows evidence and symptoms of all this, but the test, they need the test results to prove that she has it. Not a single doctor told her that she needs to be sick
Mm.
before taking that test to get accurate results.
Mm.
They tell us that after we tell them we can't afford to continue doing these tests every 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And nobody offered any assistance at all.
No assistance at all. So there's situations like us, and now we're having to look at different states because depending on the state you live in, it also decides on how much help you can or cannot get.
Mm. Wow. Wow. And I tell people all the time, man. There's a lot of things that's going on in the world. I can't just say here in America. There's a lot of things going on, and mental illness is the root of some of it. I'm not gonna say all of it, but mental illness is a root of some of
Well,
it.
uh, and that's the thing. That's why I asked you what kind.
Mm-hmm.
Because depending on her levels, she can be a very angry person.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not because of a mental illness, it's because of a chemical imbalance due to a physical health problem that she potentially has. Because
Mm-hmm.
she's possible this or this,
Mm-hmm.
therefore this, like serotonin. If her serotonin levels aren't correct, she can have like bipolar effects.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's diagnose her with bipolar and give her this medication for bipolar. And then 10 years later, oh, it's not that she was bipolar. It was because she has a gut problem that messed with her serotonin levels. And now that we've balanced this out, all of her symptoms are gone for bipolar.
Mm. Wow. Wow. And so a lot of times it's a misdiagnosis. Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning?
I can't complain. Welcome to a beautiful new day, everybody.
Hey, welcome to you as well, sir. Welcome to you as well. We're talking this morning about right now we're talking about mental illness. And Rico, in the world, let's deal with America right now because that's where we are. How rapid is the mental illness?
Man, that's a huge issue,
Mm-hmm.
huge problem for many. Like y'all was saying, you have the problem of people not being diagnosed, and then like Badger said, you have the issue of people being misdiagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
Just so many different things on people not even realizing that they have mental issues. The ones that have mental issues not having enough resources out there to get them any kind of help. I mean, so it's a big issue. The thing is that some people don't realize how huge it is, and then another thing is the different degrees of mental illness or mental trauma isn't understood. Like
Mm-hmm.
with the man from New York, y'all were talking about. They may get him in a court of law and say, well, hey, he can't be too mentally ill. He had enough sense to pick out homeless people.
Mm-hmm.
So just think about it. He targeted certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time when you think of mentally ill people, you think of people that are completely deranged. They just out here being belligerent and all over the place. They have no kind of method to their madness. But then you have some people that have method to their madness. Jeffrey Dahmer was mentally ill. Ted Bundy was mentally ill.
Yeah.
To be honest
Sling
with
Blade.
you, you talking about movies. George Bush was mentally ill.
Mm-hmm.
He was a warmonger. I mean, think about that. You have a lot of people in power that choose to not have compassion for the poor. They're mentally ill to not care about other human beings.
Yeah.
Mentally ill to say that somebody that all men are created equal, and then see a man and say, that ain't no man, that's a dog, because his skin color. That some people might say, well, that's the way it was in the past. That was an ideology. Most people they want to apologize for the past, and they say, well, that's the way it was. You got to understand that's just the way it was. But for somebody to even say, even for people back then to say, well, this is normal, this is acceptable, that we could take somebody that can do exactly the same thing we do, but say that they don't have the same rights, that they aren't equal, that they are inferior. So that there has to be some type of mental illness or dysfunction going on for you to even have this idea that on the same planet you ought to be bombing each other.
Wow.
We're earthlings, human beings.
Exactly.
And we can't. And we got people not just people, but elite people in positions of power that will utilize and manipulate the narrative to, I'm gonna say, make it acceptable to go to war. To have collateral damage. What's the purpose of war? Well, you're gonna have collateral damage. Your people gonna die that ain't supposed to die.
Yeah.
What?
That's illness. That's it doesn't, the dots doesn't connect. When you think like that, somehow the dots does not connect, man. But they try to rational reason and make it right. Tucson, good morning, Tucson. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. Good morning, fellas. Good morning, Glow family and friends, listeners.
Yes. Good morning. It seems like Tucson ready to go on. What? You already got in trouble now, all right? No, already got in trouble.
That's what I already thought about. I got to make amends already.
And I gotta tell Rico, cause he don't know yet, but he in the same boat, man. He in the same boat.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man, I might have to call and apologize to Raheem, man.
He in the same boat. It's not me. It's my other half that was listening. That y'all in trouble with. Yes, sir. It ain't me. I'm good. I'm good.
I had that feeling. I said, man, I was thinking about your wife. I was thinking about your mom and your daughter. I was like, uh-oh, man. I said, I hope they weren't listening during that time right there.
What did y'all do?
Well, men being men, man. Real men being men, man.
Exactly.
Oh, and I missed that too.
Look, being real men, being real men.
Shaking my head over here, y'all. I'm just shaking my head.
Listen to
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'll have to go back and re-listen.
Let's go right back in the corner again. I like to be in the corner. I done installed air conditioning, central heating in my doghouse.
In your Lord Jesus, you must be planning. You must be planning on spending a lot of time in that doghouse, brother. You got cable vision and everything.
We call it a man cave. A man cave. Everybody need a man cave and a truck and a dog.
Exactly.
In case you want something to pet.
Oh, you gonna pet the dog? Lord, Lord, Lord. But
Oh, cause you can't go to bed.
Tucson,
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me
Tucson,
come back to the light, Carolina.
Tucson,
Mm,
Tucson.
mm,
I'm trying to save you, brother. I have not given a number yet, but I'm
mm,
about to give the
mm,
number. You know, that's a
mm.
sign. When I give that number, that's a sign, brother. But Tucson, what do you think about what we're talking about right now, man? Mental illness here, and we're dealing with America. Is it as
Yes.
bad? Is it as rampant as people say it is?
Yes, sir. Because I was going to be sarcastic, but this is not the time. The time and the case for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna come back to being who I am, but not right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
People have grown up damaged, and it causes issues in their life, and it don't come up till later,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't get no help. They try to live it out,
Mhm.
and they go sit in the
Mm.
corner, or they are told to keep their mouth shut and go sit down somewhere. You
Mm-hmm.
remember when we were coming up, the thing was, even, uh, I don't know if it was us when we were coming up, even when a little girl, a young girl had a child in her teenage years, they sent her to go stay with Uncle Jim or a grandmother
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
or send her out of town,
Mm-hmm.
kept it quiet. If you had a family matter, you kept that quiet. What goes on in this house stays in it.
Mm-hmm.
But people along the way, and I didn't know it, people were being
Mm.
damaged, and it caused them mental issues that they grown up with. Now, here's the thing: they have grown up, and somebody voted for them, and they became president of the United States of America.
Mm.
Because if anybody had a mental problem, that was some of our presidents. You
Yeah.
ever look at, and I'm just saying, okay, can I say it? Well,
Go
he
ahead.
in trouble anyway.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
George Bush was crazy. George Bush was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Rico knows to this point now, we ain't never found no weapons of mass destruction.
Mm-hmm.
Till this day, we voted the biggest nut in that I've ever seen that grabbed women by the, here.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is, on it's sarcastic, but it ain't funny
Mm-hmm.
because you got people that are in leadership that didn't seek the help that they needed,
Yeah.
and they do things that are almost unmentionable. And
Mm-hmm.
other folks that also have mental problems, cheering them on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm just
Wow.
saying.
Wow. This thing is serious. K, what's on your heart?
Just listening. You know I get on the prayer line at 6:30, so I'm just listening.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Badger.
But he's true.
You're on
I
the right
mean, that's
line.
true what he said, though. I mean, I get on the prayer line every morning, Monday through Friday. But I mean, was that Bishop or Leonard talking?
Tucson.
Tucson. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Yeah. But he he was right. I mean, he was on point with it. And that's what they used to do back in the day. And they'll send you out quick. I wasn't even pregnant and had no kid. My mama tried to send me to my auntie in Mexico. I'm not going to Mexico to stay with them.
Mm-hmm.
I ran away, tripping.
Mm-hmm.
She realized that ain't what I wanted to do though. And
Yeah.
I came on back home. But
They.
she tried to, just because she didn't want me to have a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Keep me away from this little boy. I still ended up his girlfriend. We still ended up with 2 kids. Like, it was crazy. But she
Mm-hmm.
tried to send me away.
Wow.
So yeah, I can relate to all that. And I wasn't even pregnant. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
even doing nothing. I was still a tomboy. She just didn't know her daughter.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's good. That's good. Charles, good morning. How you doing this morning?
What's up? What's up? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We're talking about mental illness, man, and the situation of mental illness here in America. And we're dealing with America because that's where we are. Certainly, it's all over the world, but we're dealing with America. How how rampant is mental illness here in America?
A lot, a whole lot, bro. More than people know, man. Sometimes I work at a mental ill institute, a hospital. Sad, man. It's sad, bro. I mean, sometimes I see these kids, man. Now, and they're young, man. They're like 8 years old, and they're cuts all on their arms and stuff. It's a lot more than 20 years ago. Put it that way.
Hmm.
Cause I used to work. I used to work at uh what is that? Peachford sometimes. And Peachford is a big mental hospital here. Georgia Regional. My ex-wife used to work there, and it is a lot bigger than people understand. Let me tell you something, man. I can notice some kids growing up, and I would wonder why they did certain things growing up. So as an adult, learning about mental illness and the spectrum and all that type of stuff, a lot of those kids that I grew up were on the spectrum, man, and we didn't even know that. But we didn't treat them like that either, though.
Hmm.
You understand? And my mom, I remember my mom. We had a cousin. My mom used to make her do everything we did, and she was on the spectrum. And you got to understand, people didn't even talk about the spectrum 30 years ago, man, 40 years ago.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
understand? They didn't talk about that stuff. They didn't like, you know how. Uh, I'm not gonna even say black families, but I gotta say it because those people you hide or you say, ah, that's all right, ain't nothing wrong with Timmy, ain't nothing wrong with uh, Ray Ray, but something wrong with him, and we don't take him somewhere and find out what's going on. But
Mhm.
what I have seen lately compared to 20 years ago, I've seen more black children or even people in these institutes getting help. I have seen more, which is a good thing
Mhm.
when it was used to be ignored. You understand? It used to be ignored.
Wow.
But
Wow.
the spectrum is wide, man. It's I mean, I seen it like two 2 weeks ago, man. I was there for a whole week, man. And you can see a lot
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
I'm upfront and personal with these people, like really upfront. So it's big here, man. It's just that how we handling it, man. Insurance and stuff like that. People can't pay for it. They got programs. Georgia Regional is one of the places that I think that it's a government ran place, and these other places do take Medicaid uh, and better and all that type stuff. But it's big here, man. It's really big. It's bigger than we think because we're not working in it, but it's big.
Exactly. Now, Rico, what do you say about and Charles touched on it a little bit there. People that say that family members, they're just well Tony, he okay, and we try to put a false label on it, and
He a little
sad as
touch.
it is, yeah, he touched or he's just a little special or something like that. Instead of dealing with what's really going on and getting him the necessary need help that he or she needs, we try to overlook it and try to act as though it did not and does not exist.
What you're asking?
About how do why do we sometimes do that, try to overlook it and act as though instead of getting the help that they need, we try to overlook it and just put a title on and say that they just like Charles said, touch or just a little special, they just a little special and don't really address the problem. Are we contributing to this situation that we have here in America by doing that?
I mean, those families that does that 9 times out of 10. I mean, and the reason why they probably do it is because of shame.
Yeah,
And some people
yeah.
would probably say, well, are they ashamed of those people? To a certain extent, they're ashamed of those people, but at the same time, subconsciously, something is telling them that they're the reason they're like that.
Mm,
So that's another thing too. People will start wondering, well, is it am I the reason? Because I've always had some questions and wondered about my mentality. Or is it the reason because I got with their dad and their daddy side of the family is throwed and out there? So now I got to deal with the consequences of dealing with somebody that I had a baby with these traits. That now this baby done came out messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you had a baby with your cousin or dad or your brother. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, who the dad of the child is going to be revealed because of the way the child turned out. Wait a minute, what happened?
You see that, Rico?
Uh-uh.
Look on it. Look on it.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Okay, all right.
So, you know, that could be one of the issues. And the thing is in most cases, that's how it gets normalized. Or actually it keeps continuing to the point to where now it hit the fan. Now this behavior has, you know, created a person that is a result of bad relationships. But you know, the thing is sometimes we have to be able to identify people that are mentally ill, because sometimes we are working right next to mentally ill people. We'll say they're eccentric. All right, we'll give all these different titles until they come back to work and shoot up the place. Or until somebody go to their home, they be like, well, why such and such don't go out with the rest of the fellas all the time? Or why? Then you finally go to his house and you see, man, he's consumed with a certain lifestyle. He got pictures of Elvis all over the walls or something like that. I mean, he just completely infatuated. You be like, okay, wait a minute, something ain't right with this dude. That's the reason why he don't let nobody come over his house. He got Pokemon all over the house. He's 50 years old. Something ain't right. You know,
Bro, you said a mouthful of that, man.
And see, you know, so you call them functioning mental patients. That's what I call them. They might not even be patients, but functioning mentally disabled people.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know how to identify them. You know, like I said, we've seen them in positions of power. Then when they get in positions of power and show you just how crazy they are, guess what? They have millions of supporters.
Yeah.
That watch that craziness and they agree with it. They agree with the debauchery. Society is sick, though. I mean, just to think about it, like I said earlier, with the way America was started and what we have had to go through. Innocent people being incarcerated and then lynch mobs coming together, deciding to override the law and take these people out and hang them up in the middle of the town and have picnics.
Mm-hmm.
Sit back and eat and make postcards and mail them out to everybody. Hey, y'all, we having a good old time out here. We got a show, y'all. We fixing to kill a nigga.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of mental illness. And it was widespread and rampant. You see some of those pictures. I had a book that I was reading. You know, I was going live every day reading books, trying to inform people about things that we should know that we don't pay attention to. In this book, you can't find it anymore. I mean, you can't find it anywhere. It's called Without Sanctuary, and it really shows. John Lewis is one of the authors of it. And it shows pictures, not all the pictures, but hundreds of pictures of lynchings across the United States, even a few white people, but lynchings from across the United States that had to do with racism and lynch mobs and how things went. And you look at some of those pictures, man, and you see small kids and grown men sitting there next to dead bodies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Having a good time doing touchdown celebration, spiking the ball, boop, with the head. Women and children. Ooh, yeah. Give me a souvenir. Give me a piece of that body part to remember how we did another human being.
You can buy a copy of that book for $185.
Hold on, Badger.
Now all of a sudden you come years later and you feel like, you know what? That wasn't an issue. We don't need to repay people for that terror that they went through. Mm-hmm. We don't need to repay these families that went through this. We don't need to repay these the families that had to move out of Wilmington, North Carolina, and out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, from Black Wall Street. We don't want to repay none of these people that the United States used their own airplanes to go and bomb, because that was the way things were back then, and we were a mentally ill nation. We don't think we need to fix that or pay for that. Only people need to fix that is the Nazis. Mm-hmm.
And Charles, I see your question on you said, what does that have to do with mental illness? You don't think is a person is mentally ill if they're going out there doing terrible and horrible things to other people? You don't think that ties into mental illness?
to enjoy watching people burning?
Huh?
Can I answer the question?
Absolutely.
That to be honest, man, you got evil and you got mental illness, and you got an evil mental illness. And if you ever been to a institute, man, what you're talking about happened so long ago is not affecting anybody today. If anything, you would go and look
What,
at what's happening in the black
what they got to
community.
do with mental illness?
Okay, can I finish?
I'm just doing what you do.
All right, but can I finish? I, I'm just saying, what's going on in the black community? Everything to me, everything doesn't always go back to racial tension. Some things go to what it is right in front of us. Everything that we talk about doesn't go back to what white people did
Who
or
said that?
what anybody. Everything doesn't go back to that,
Who
man.
said that?
You gotta
Hey, Charles,
understand.
Charles, let me hold on, Charles, Charles. You go on. What I'm not clear with what you're doing right now because I am clear with what you're doing, but I'm not gonna deal with what you're doing right now
What do
because
you mean?
no
You
one
don't.
no Charles, hold on, brother. You're not gonna overtalk me. You know we don't do that. We don't do that. My thing is this right here. When did anybody say anything about black or white or anything? See, you throwing something totally different than what he said
No,
into the
no.
equation. You saying he got nothing to do with white? He never said white people. When did he say white people?
Yes, he did. He said that. He said he mentioned
Okay,
white
he's
people.
hold on.
With
He's right there.
everything he said was true.
He's right there. Let's ask him. Did you say white people? Rico, did you say white people?
I said lynch mobs. I said lynch mobs. I said lynch mobs that broke people out of jail and defied the government and broke them out and put them up in the middle of town and hung them up and killed them and had picnics.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Did black
people were
people do that,
mentally
or did white
ill.
people do that?
You
Okay,
said
now
white
see,
people.
that's your
I'm
assumption.
just,
That's
I'm
your
I
assumption.
just
just
said they
asking
were.
you.
I
Y'all
just
too
said
many
they were
names.
mentally
Too
ill.
many
That's your
names, man.
assumption, Charles. That's your assumption. He never said,
Man, y'all.
we're not gonna sit here and let you interject what you want to interject in somebody else's
Wow.
comment. You
Hmm.
saying he never said one time white people. That's what you said. He never said white people. I mean, if you want to leave, you can leave, brother. But we're not gonna let you do that. You trying to disrupt this conversation and take it in the direction that you want to take it in, and based on what you want to base it on, you're not gonna do that. We're not gonna allow you to do that, brother.
I
It's not
said
gonna happen.
those people were mentally ill, not
Yeah, he
white
said those
people.
people. He never said anything about white people. I'm sitting here, I'm listening to every word everybody say. He never said white people one time. Not one time did he say white people.
Who he was referring to? Were they white or black?
It doesn't
I
matter
was
what he's
referring to the
referring to.
lynch
I'm
mobs.
just asking the question. I'm asking the question.
Okay, now, look, my thing is right. That's
And he
something you have.
answered me.
Charles, hold on, bro. Charles, no, you're not gonna do
You
that, bro.
never answered the
Okay, my thing is this right here. My thing is right here. It was never said at all white people. And so for somebody to come on here and try to interject what they want to interject into the conversation and try to change the narrative to fit what they want to fit or the argument the direction they want to go in, we're not doing that. Not one time was the term white people used. It was not used at all. It was not used. It was not said. And so for him to say something like that or try to interject something like that, there's something going on outside of what we're talking about. So no, we're not gonna let you do that, brother. We're not gonna let you do that. That's not gonna happen. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning? Hold on, Badge. I'm coming back to you, brother. Cassandra,
Good morning.
we talking this
Good
morning.
morning.
We're talking this morning about mental illness and the part that it plays and what part does it play in America today. How rampant is mental illness, Cassandra?
Unfortunately, too rampant,
Mm-hmm.
and it was already getting bad, and then the pandemic really sent people into bad headspaces.
Mm-hmm.
There was much more depression going on. There was more abuse increased. So it definitely has played and is playing um, uh, a tremendous effect
Mm-hmm.
on the U.S. right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm. Now, Cassandra, you was listening to the conversation that we was having earlier, and maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me. And I give you all the right to do so. Was the term white people ever used in what Rico said?
Oh, I didn't hear. I didn't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't listening. I didn't hear it.
Okay. Okay. Badger, you were here, Badger. Did he ever say white people?
The word white? No.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
However, most people, if they hear lynch mobs from back in the day, it's 90, 95%. going to be white folks.
Hmm. But that from where I'm sitting, that's an assumption that people would take. You know, they could gather
Yep,
from what they
that's
gather.
perspective, which
Exactly.
is what I wanted to touch on.
Go ahead.
Um, so, I've gotten pretty passionate a few times on the show when it comes to allowing the past to control your emotions. Um, there are a lot of things that are still happening today. And it's happening to people across the board. Um, and I research, I look at the past, I read the books, I look at the pictures, for all the stuff that happened. Not just to black people, but to my Native American families, to, what they were doing to Irish and Jewish people when they came over and all that stuff. And it's hateful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not right at all. It can be viewed as a mental illness. It can also be viewed as mind control and all kinds of other terminologies.
Mm-hmm.
Those that had enough willpower to go, I don't agree with what you're teaching me, fought against it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's one thing to teach history. It's another to teach the emotions that a person has with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm teaching Native history to my kids, and they're saying, well, that's wrong and stuff. And I'm like, yes, it is. That's why we're working hard to make sure it doesn't happen again. I'm not showing my anger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying, a huge amount of negative stuff about it. It's
Mm-hmm.
about another race that did it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm teaching it as a factual, informational, these are things that were done to other human beings based off of greed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's beautiful, Badger. Oh, that's beautiful, and I love what you're saying. But at the same time, there's certain facts that you cannot ignore in the course of what you're saying. There are certain facts that you just can't ignore. If you ignore those
What
facts, then you're not actually putting the whole truth and nothing but the truth out there.
what facts am I missing?
Well, you say a lot of times you say that you don't say about this set of people. You don't say about that. The group of people. You don't target certain
No,
people.
no. My emotions
Mm-hmm.
toward those groups of people.
Okay. Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
I might say, yes, I am upset at what happened,
Mm-hmm.
but
Okay.
I'm not angry at that race
Mm-hmm. Okay.
for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Okay.
a lot of them were doing what they were told, what they were taught, because that's all they knew.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it sucks to admit that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good.
Raheem,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, can I just say something? I'm a little bit more awake right now. Can I just say something really quick?
Yes, ma'am.
It really disturbs me. One thing that's always said on here that really bothers me: emotions, y'all, and y'all emotions. Well, if you are not in your emotions, what are you in? Whether it's a calm emotion, whether it's an angry emotion, that term really bothers me
Mm-hmm.
because everybody is in their emotions, whether you're calm, whether you're angry, whether
Mm-hmm.
you're sad, whether you. So what is this thing with emotions all the time?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense to me because when Badger was talking, he's talking in his emotion. Some emotion is there, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's a calm emotion, a relaxed emotion, a confident emotion. It's a part of who he is. So
Mm-hmm.
we all operate in our emotions. We just operate in different
Exactly.
emotions. I happen to be an A-type personality, and I come across very assertive to some people. I come across aggressive to other people. That's just who I am. I
Mm-hmm.
can't. I don't know. It's just that emotions. Well, y'all need to stop walking in your emotions. Nigga, oh,
Oh.
excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
All of you are operating in some type of emotion. Please know that.
Yeah.
Please know that.
Exactly. Exactly. Curtis, good morning. How you doing this morning?
What's going on, fam? How
What?
you?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Curtis, we're talking about mental illness. We're talking this morning about mental illness and how rampant is mental illness in the world. Let's talk specifically about here in the United States of America because that's where we are. How rampant is mental illness?
How what? American is
Ha-
mental illness?
no, how rampant is it mental illness?
Man, man. Lord have mercy. Woo!
Come on,
Right.
Curtis. Mm-hmm.
I remember a time when I could ride through.
Hey, Curtis, talk directly into your phone. You're a little bit low, brother.
Bro, I remember a time when I could ride through a neighborhood or a block, man, and I might see some folk out there just chilling, or it might be bleak. But brother, I'm telling you, I'm dealing with it every day. It's what I do for a living. So you can trust these words. I have never, in the 25 years that I've been living, that I've been working in this field, seen this many mentally ill people walking walking on the street. And you can't go nowhere. Nowhere. And I've been in neighborhoods that like was after dark, it's extremely, docile and calm. Bro, I just rode through last night after I got out of rehearsal at like 12 o'clock. I dropped one of the cast members off. I'm riding on my way home. I'm in a neighborhood that has been a prominent African American neighborhood for the last 50, 60 years. The mayors live around the corner. That type of neighborhood, right? Bro, do you know I ride past 4 people that really should be in the institution? And I don't mean I just ride by. I mean, I literally got to slow down. I'm on a road with the speed limit about 45. I got to slow down because they in the middle of the street spazzing.
Mm-hmm.
Spazzing. I'm saying if I was the police, I would have pulled over. Sir, can I help you? Do you need some help? You see what I'm saying? But, like I've said before, when you look at, no, you know what, I'm going to end right there because I don't want to take up too much of my time.
Good deal, good deal. Okay. Charles, what's on your heart, brother?
What? That was Curtis, right? What Curtis just said?
Yes.
Man, look, he is so right. And you know something else I just thought about? What causes a lot of mental illness that we might have skipped over? Um, Drug use.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the more drug use, or what I'm saying, like sometimes people get a hold of bad drugs and stuff like that, and then they become unstable and mentally ill,
Mm-hmm.
and that chemical reaction with that drug causes them to be that way. So sometimes that I've seen this a lot. I've seen this a lot. And then once they're, sometimes they never come out of it, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they can be detoxed and then they come out of it. But the more drug use or certain type drugs that are used out there, the more mental illness. I'm not talking about just black, but I'm talking about black, white, everybody. You
Mm-hmm.
can see them just, more people on the streets. Um, and I'm not saying just because you're homeless, you're mental ill, but you can see the mentally ill homeless people, and you can see mentally ill people who have a lot of sense too. But
Mm-hmm.
but you see like areas of like downtown Atlanta, and you can go there if you talk to people, and you can say, you can look at them, like you can see the track marks on their arms, or you can see stuff like that, and they're not in a um they're in a mental ill state that that they will need help.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the same type people that you see at like these different um places that I work at. You might see track marks all in their arm. They might, you might uh they have some issues going on. They got to get the medicine for that. They got to get the other medicine to calm them down. But a lot of it, man, could be with drug use also. You understand? When you get to a certain level, I'm talking about beyond the kids. Remember, I said the kids also. And,
Mm-hmm.
Kurt, he worked in the area, so he should. That's something I would like to ask him. Do we see like a lot more due to drug use?
Curtis. Curtis.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah. Charles asked you a question. Do you see a lot of mental illness based on a drug use or somebody got a hold to some bad drugs? Is that a part
That's
of?
that's a larger percentage now of you seeing illicit drug use and folks done got hold of bad drugs, you
Mm-hmm.
know, or I mean we can go with bad drugs because that's an easier statement, but they done got hold of some drugs that they system just can't handle.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that dog on fentanyl, you know, cats is what's happening right now is cats is using fentanyl as cut.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and you can't use fentanyl. Fentanyl is strictly used for, you gotta have a chemist. That's supposed to be strictly used in a hospital. Most of us who done had surgery done had fentanyl in our system.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna become a use of cut. So now you got a powerful drug already, and they cutting it to make more of it. They cutting it with fentanyl.
Mm-hmm.
It's ripping the fabric. It's ripping the fabric in our society.
Wow.
And
Wow.
they ain't doing stop. And the sad reality is this: is in terms of fentanyl, I promise y'all, we can have a function right now, and we can all go and gather around the computer. Excuse me. We can all go and gather around. We can have a function right now. All of us go and gather around the computer and go on Google, type in fentanyl purchase, something like that, and we could sit there and buy fentanyl and get up from the computer. If we had the time to sit and wait 2 weeks, we could wait till it come right there to the house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now let me go to you're right, and I love that it was brought in that a lot of this stuff, some of it is based on drugs and stuff like that and different things that's going on. Thank you, I appreciate that. Um, but Rico, let me ask you this: how we gonna talk about one side of the drugs that's doing the different things that's causing the harms and stuff like that. We're gonna talk about one side of the drug. I like to deal with both sides of the coin. What about when a lot of times the doctors, the school system and stuff like that want to put our children on something like Ritalin or something like that? Isn't that a drug or isn't that an effect of it as well? They say they want to do it to balance it out, but I said earlier in the broadcast, man, I don't always agree with the medical part and medicine part of it. What do you say to that?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, sometimes that becomes a cookie cutter issue, and they start at one point in time that was the thing to do. They came up with this diagnosis of ADD or ADHD. When they finally determined which one they want to use, and then they started putting a lot of children under that category that didn't belong under it. They forgot about the fact that these children probably just lacked home training because they didn't have parents at home the way they should when they're working, or they were latchkey children, and maybe they just missed a little bit of programming or guidance that they should have had at a young age that other people didn't get. That's where that quality time comes in. And so, before we get too far away, because that can happen, that can contribute to mental illness. But we got to understand there's extreme mental illness and then there's moderate mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you take, for instance, somebody like Jim Jones. He was extremely mentally ill, but he was functioning.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about that, how much he was a mentally disabled functioning person that was able to manipulate and trick other people that wasn't as mentally ill as him into doing his will. Kill yourself, drink this Kool-Aid, give me your money, move to this country, leave the United States, give everything, trust me and put everything under my control. I'm crazy, but I could get y'all to believe me. So that really goes to show you how easy it is to go undiagnosed. Remember I said earlier, we could be working right next to somebody that's functioning, but they just moderately mentally ill.
Mm-hmm.
And so I brought up that about the picnic because that was a thing nowadays. People say, well, that was just how things went back then. They just put it in one category, slavery. That's how things was back then. But when you talk about the picnics and when you talk about the lynch mobs, then it gets a little deeper, and so that goes to shame again.
Mhm.
We don't want to bring the disabled cousin out the closet, or we don't want to admit that we got somebody that's mentally ill in the family that carried on and did these things, and which most of the time it was everybody in the family that said that's just the way things are, babe.
Mm-hmm.
They just work for us, and we're just superior. That's the way it is, and so that's what I meant. Like I said, society was mentally ill. And they don't want to repair that. They don't want to fix that right now. So I had my own situation. You know, I'm pretty sure people that had been seeing me on here know that I raised myself, you know, with the help of my grandmother. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother, she played a big part in nurturing me and feeding me and clothing me. But I still had to go out here and maneuver and around this world on my own in my neighborhood. And in the process, I started rebelling and acting out and doing things against the grain, because you know, when you 11 years old and you out here dealing with people that's 16 or whatever, and they bullying you or influencing you to do things so you don't have to worry about being uncomfortable, and then you bring those mentalities home. You bring this music home that you listening to. You bring this culture learning gang sign. Where you getting all this from? You bring all this home, you know, and after a while, parents start saying, well, you know what, Rico, what's wrong with you? Me and your dad been talking. Whoa, you and daddy talk? After 13 years, y'all decided to finally talk about me? After y'all threw me away? Well, me and your daddy talked, and you've been having some issues, and we was thinking that we might need to take you to see a psychiatrist. Now, y'all might need to go see the psychiatrist. So then as I get older, guess what? I go get some therapy. And guess what the therapist tells me? You need to bring your mom, your dad, and your stepdad in. So we could sit down and all have a talk together. I was 46 years old. Imagine that. So if I need to bring in the people in the past that neglected me and left me vulnerable to the point where I had to learn what the world had to bring on my own and sort through it myself, and in the process of that, some of the things I did, they didn't agree with, even though they weren't hands on the way they should be. They had the opinion that something ain't right with Rico. 46 years later, I find out the therapist says, you know what? The problem was them. So if they haven't been fixed, that's probably why you never got fixed. And the 9 times out of 10, you were programmed wrong from the beginning. So you are dealing with moderate mental issues. I was dealing with moderate mental issues based on the trauma from my past. Based on the neglect from my past. So guess what black people are going through? Guess what? I said black. I wonder who I'm talking about on the other side. Black people were traumatized from a mentally ill society that said, you know what? We know what y'all are going through is wrong, but that's just the way it is.
Let's go to Badger. You say you had a question?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions that I want to.
Let's go one at a time, Badger. Let's go one at a time for time's sake.
So, how many people on the panel or on the call today think that one of the reasons the gas prices have increased is because of the ban from Russian oil?
That's only Russia, the oil from Russia is only about 8 to 10% of what we have here in America. That's not our main source, and so I don't think that has the biggest bearing on it. I think that there is a shortage, but we do have reserves, and so you know in those reserves, if they tap into those reserves, you know they can actually go in and do something about the high gas prices. But it will put us in a bad situation because now you're taking away. It's almost like that just in case money. When you use that just in case money, you know, it'll fix the situation at that moment. But then again, you don't have any more just in case money. Then you got to replenish the just in case money, just in case something else would have happened. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Cassandra?
Yes.
What do you say to that?
But the gas prices?
Yes.
No, that is about capitalism. That has we have oil, like you said, oil reserves here.
So we're not. It's not some desperate situation, but people knew that people would get scared once they hear war. The word war always sends rich people into richer mode, and poor people into panic mode. So, I believe that's all that was.
Mm-hmm.
But they're balancing out now. I don't know whether you guys saw it on the news, all of the news stations pretty much, but the prices are starting to balance out. They're going to start dropping.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother? And Joy for Jay, turn on your video, your audio and your video. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
Okay.
Oh Lord, Rico, here we go.
No, I was just trying to fit in here with this conversation because
Mm-hmm.
you don't have any generations
Mm-hmm.
that you would actually have to bring into counseling to resolve or just to try to resolve some of the mental anguish. Is that a good word?
Yes.
That has gone on in folks' lives.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about shh, don't say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I was just playing.
Mm-hmm. You know I wasn't serious. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what was said earlier, that's just the way things work. That's just the way. And little girls and little boys that now are adults that are so safe, and please nobody get offended by what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming out the closet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an uncontrollable avalanche that has gone so far as to affect the lives of a kindergarten child that is now saying that I really am a boy, but I'm in girl. I'm born a girl. And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Because Rico said something when he said a mentally disturbed person has a whole congregation of mentally disturbed people because, and don't get me wrong by what I'm saying, that the people that seek out certain people with certain criteria so that they can manipulate them. Trump was good at it because they said he wasn't prejudiced, but he would try to manipulate those that were to cause them to do something. See, he's sick.
Get a reaction.
So here's a sick man that knows how people operate. And just by the words that come out of his mouth and what people's action, what they have been acting or afraid to act on, he stir it up and say, we used to treat them rough.
Wow.
Meet me at the Capitol. Now he didn't show up. But they did. And we have this is a subject that should have went on, that should go on from here on out. Because there are people that's listening to us right now, and there are some that's in our midst. They are victims of circumstance.
Yeah.
We all really. And we're acting. You can tell when we start acting out on those things because we flare up. We get emotional, in a sense, to the point where you can hear it, but the reason why you're not hearing it is because you're not listening. Because we live in a selfish society that is all about me. It's really all about me. It ain't about you.
Wow.
The sick people Sick people causes sick people to be sick.
Mm.
And they
508924.
understand. You know how to say that number, don't
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 508-924
you?
3521 508-924 3521. Let me go to Curtis. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother?
You know what, Ryan?
Yes.
I don't quite know how to
Talking to your phone for me, brother.
I don't quite know how to I don't know how to I don't know what topic to come from. I was listening. You're welcome. I was listening and I really don't know where to come from.
Let's let's
Um
let's come from the mental illness side.
okay, so let me just go ahead and break this down because I work in the field. This is my honest and true opinion, man. When you hear everybody talk about capitalism with mental illness, you better look at it from a capitalistic point of view. The reason why we got so many sick people out here is because don't nobody want to pay for it. You understand? Mental illness is the hardest diagnosis to actually gauge and say it's not like cancer. Like, okay, you have liver cancer, or you have lung cancer, or you have throat cancer, or you have prostate. It's not like that. A mental illness, most of the time, you just start with one and it develops to another. Now, in terms of these gas prices, let me just keep it all the way a buck. Capitalism without a conscience is corruption. Capitalism cannot be a free market. The folks who are in charge of capitalism and the ideology thereof have shown you that if you give them the opportunity to have a free market, they will manipulate it. We shouldn't even be paying $2. We shouldn't be paying no more than $2. I think it's $2.05 a barrel, right? I mean $2.05 a gallon. They can't even listen. If you look at the price of the barrel, I think it's $100 and something right now. It might have went up because of this war. The price per gallon is supposed to coincide with the price per barrel. We're being charged speculatory prices. So they're speculating that come the end of the year, for example, let's just say the barrel is going to cost $300. So they're charging us for that now. They're charging us for gas we ain't even used yet.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's where I'm stopping. Get off my soapbox. You know what I'm saying? I'm transformed back into my original self.
Good deal. Good deal. Charles, what's on your heart, brother?
He is correct about that speculatory prices, but also back to what we were talking about on mental illness. Um, and I had just text something. Don't you think that like a lot of it is being accepted now? When you see a dude trying to compete in a woman's sport as a woman, and people want to
Mm.
accept it, is that not because back in the day it was diagnosed as being mental illness. Curtis is right also about how hard it is to diagnose somebody with mental illness. It's very hard. Like he said, you can walk in and say, "Hey, that's cancer," but
Mm-hmm.
something of the mind is very hard to do. Even the mind is very tricky, man. But one thing, like I said, accepting the mental illness, is it making it worse or is it making it better? Because we know that a dude shouldn't be um, competing with women in women's sports. And then another thing, I got an example of somebody a guy I used to know, man, and I think Curtis was saying something about fentanyl, but this guy was taking something called Cat9, which is I think is a horse tranquilizer. So he
Mm-hmm.
took this thing years ago. So we would talk. He was off of it. He never took it anymore, but we would talk. And I'm sitting here talking like I'm talking to you, and like this is what he would do. He would say, "Hey Charles, man, I was walking down the street
And just lose it.
and then man, you know what happened?" And I'm sitting there looking, what in the world? And that's exactly how he would go. because of the drugs that he took a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? He had stole the drugs from a veterinarian or something like that.
Wow.
Horse tranquilizer. And it messed with his brain. I mean, he was mentally, I mean, what you would call it mentally ill because he can't even drive a car now. You understand? Because if he's driving and he blank out, then somebody might die.
Exactly. Now, Charles, what do you think about the what we said about the Ritalin situation? Do you think that too?
Man, I totally agree with you on that one, man. Because you remember 20 years ago, everybody was being diagnosed with ADHD, right? When actually, what Rico was saying, actually it could have been just the kid needed some more home training. But it's easier to cookie cutter as diagnose somebody when it's not easy to do that. But if you say, well, um, Tim, he just needs some Ritalin, and give the kid Ritalin, and he didn't need it. That's kind of
Yeah.
that's messed up, man. They did a lot of kids like that back in the 90s and the 80s, man. Especially
Yeah.
the 90s.
It was a big thing to put. It was a big thing to put them on that Ritalin, and that was the fix all for everything. Rico, you wanted to say something about
Hold on. One more thing. You know where that Ritalin push came from?
what's
It
that?
also came from what Curtis was talking about. Um, it came from companies and greed. The medicine, these medical companies make more money by pushing something out there. So they made more money by pushing Ritalin out there. These drug companies, and at that time, I remember being in the medical field that they were really pushing that. You would see all kind of what are these sales reps coming by these offices?
Hey, right here.
Yeah. Hold on, Curtis.
And they would sell those, and they would sell that medicine the same way they do with anything right now. You know, they push it like that. Curtis he would know more because that's what he do all the time.
Exactly. Let me go back to Rico and Curtis. I'm gonna come right back to you. Rico, you wanted to say something about emotions?
Yeah, and that too, man. That's funny that they said that because I was on a doctor's appointment one time, and right as I was walking out, the doctor I had just finished talking to started talking to one of those sales reps. And I heard how it went down. I was listening to the conversation, and I was like, man, they actually getting paid to promote certain pharmaceuticals when there are others available. And some of these things give people negative reactions, like with blood pressure medicine at one point in time. They was giving people negative reactions, and they were showing people on Facebook with their lips swole up and this and that, but they were still prescribing it. And I heard it was like medicine that actually wasn't good for black people, but these doctors' offices and so get kickbacks for that medication. But I want to go to what Cassandra was saying earlier, because she was telling the truth. A person or a human being that doesn't have emotions, a human being that is emotionless probably is mentally ill. So it is sort of goofy that we do say, "Oh, get out of your emotions," or "You just coming from your emotions," because what it really boils down to is we aren't using our words correctly again. What we're trying to say is sometimes we get overexcited.
Yeah.
See, we've been saying the wrong thing. I've been saying it all, man. We in our emotions, they in their emotions, and really truly, you're supposed to have emotions. If you don't have emotions, you're dead. So I mean, we are supposed to have emotions. The thing is that sometimes we get more excited, more passionate about certain things. And we do have to understand what mental illness is. I could read this off real quick and then let y'all go ahead and do what you're gonna do. But mental illness, it is a health condition involving changes in emotion, thinking, behavior, or a combination of these things. So what we have to understand that there are things that can cause mental illness. You have anxiety is a mental illness. Mood disorder, schizophrenia, dementia, eating disorder. You got post-traumatic stress syndrome. I wonder, can black people suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome in America? You have all these different mental illness. Anxiety. I wonder if black people can get anxious or get a little nervous when they get in crowds of white people, like white people that lock their door when black people walk by. Bloop. See, we live in a sick society. That's why I say we are mentally ill. Some is extreme and some is moderate. Some of us mentally ill people are functioning and some are. But all of us do need a little therapy because we see the people locking their doors when they see somebody like us walk by.
Yeah.
We see the black people that seem to be hung up on slavery and racism because they went through it. They're mentally traumatized. I'm traumatized by what happened to Emmett Till, and to know that people didn't get punishment for it. I'm traumatized to know that babies were fed to alligators. I'm traumatized to know that, you know, some of these Catholic priests were touching on children when they were supposed to be saving their souls. You know, so I mean, you know, when and the thing is I'm traumatized to know that I live in a society that says that, you know, we can't correct all these things in these environments that contributed to society being mentally ill today, because that's the way things were back then, and I didn't own slaves.
Exactly. Curtis, you wanted to say something? We got Joyful J with us as well. We're gonna go to that brother too. Curtis, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. First off, in the play that I'm in right now, man, there's a very, very short little monologue. He says, revolution, change, the object, the concept of shifting things, hopefully for the better. But the thing that really gets me is he says, change is the man in the mirror. And the scariest revolution is the man in the mirror, right? But I want to go a little deeper. Check this out. There are several mental health conditions, right, that we know as clinicians, as doctors, as social workers, even as direct care professionals, we know that there are certain mental health conditions that are transferable, or what we would call inherent, right? So if you get a client, I'm losing my train of thought because I'm in a rush, and my mind, this medicine, once again, this medicine got me. I got to talk to the doctor.
A little discombobulated.
If you get a 16-year-old, right? Let's say you get a 14-year-old. You get this 14-year-old, and when you look at their psychosocial, right? In their psychosocial, it says that their mother, right, suffered from schizophrenia, multiple personality disorder, It gives you a list of things that she suffered from. If you pay real close attention, all of those things are what you call, thank you, Jesus. All of those things are what you call spectrum. I call it spectrum items. So the spectrum mental health conditions. That means that when they tested her, she tested above the mean, right? This 14-year-old kid is testing at this moment below the mean. But you can tell that he has possibly inherited it from his mother. And when you look at all of her kids have some form of mental health disorder. Now, when we talk about Price, think about that now. You got a mama and a daddy. One of them is mentally ill, and now you have to pay, or somebody is going to have to pay for all of the family to receive treatment because this thing has been inherited. So the only reason, and this is just my opinion, the only reason that we have this mental health issue and or condition is because don't nobody want to pay for it. But here's the flip side, Raheem. Everybody want to make money off of it. So what they doing is they putting out these meds, and a lot of times the United States military is the first testing ground.
Wow.
For these meds.
Exactly.
So putting out these meds, and it's destroying the community. Now, to answer Rico's question, when Rico was talking about can black folks be mentally ill, anybody who goes through higher education and they take social work, if they take social work as their degree, if they choose social work as their degree, once they start working in that core, there has been studies going back to as as early as I want to say the mid 70s
Wrap it
that
up,
has
McCurt.
shown. I'm trying right here. I'm trying to talk as fast as I can, brother.
Mm-hmm.
That has shown that the average inner city youth, predominantly black, is suffering from stages and or symptoms of PTSD by the time he reaches the age, I believe it's between 6 and 8.
Okay. Wow. Joyful J. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
I am blessed and highly favored. How's everyone doing today? How's everyone?
Hey, doing good, brother. We're talking about mental illness. How rampant is, and we're talking about the United States of America. It's actually all over the world, but because of the fact that we're here in the United States of America, we're talking about here in America. How rampant is mental illness?
It's extremely rampant. I've listened from the beginning of the show. I actually was taking my son to school, so I was able to listen. So now I can chime in. And everyone has some valid points. Mental illness is has been so heightened, as the young lady said, even with COVID and everyone being in the house. Me being a man of the cloth, if you will. An idle mind is the devil's workshop. When you don't have anything to do, you start, thinking, what can I do, or getting into stuff. Even when we were kids, our parents said, find something to do, because sitting around, you're going to get into mischief. You're going to start doing things that are unsavory. So mental health is very, very strong, especially in the Black community. I'll say, I know, as for me myself, after my brain injury from my accident, just going into normal society with the brain injury, it confuses you. And then with these setbacks, a lot of the setbacks that African American men have had, where we've had to work harder to get the same pay, starting from way back in slavery time. I've heard the conversation as well. Then we try to, because we've been systematically conditioned by television, what you see is what you're going to want to do. We see the rappers wearing all the famous stuff, the famous clothes, the Gucci, we're driving the nice stuff, and we want that, so we chase after that. And we try hard to be accepted. There it is. We try to be accepted at the same time, with so many obstacles getting thrown our way, where we have to work harder than the next man of another color or another race, if you will. And then we come home and we have to deal with the breakup of our families and the baby mom issues. There's a lot of stuff that could cause mental illness. And mental illness is so serious, it could cause you to, again, take your own life. I've known a lot of people who've taken their own life from mental illness because they didn't understand anything. They felt no one loved them. We talked about this not too long ago as far as suicide. A lot of suicides are from mental illness. A lot of people getting picked on in schools or at work. They had enough, so they come and they shoot the place up. Mental illness, or they take their own life. Mental illness. It's so deep. But me being the person that I am, I know that it's deeper than just what we were taught or what we see. And what we have conditioned. It's a choice. We choose to do these things because we try to be accepted. We try to be accepted by anyone and everyone, by our peers, by our family members, by other people who may not look like us but have more than we do. We try to be accepted by them. And when we find that we can't, or it's harder, it's more, it's difficult on our brains. And that's where a lot of the mental health issues come into play, I think.
Good deal. Let me go to Kay with the E. She's been silent for a minute. Kay, what's on your heart?
Just listening. I'm off the phone now. I'm on the third line. I was just listening. I couldn't speak because I was talking, but I was just for our listeners and people to know. We don't raise our babies to judge or anything, but like you said, TV teaches them that, because we was watching SpongeBob and they decided they was going to play house, and it was two men. And my 6-year-old grandson, he was 6 at that time, and he said, "Grandma, how two men gonna play house?" And I said, "Boy, turn that off. What are you watching?" And it was SpongeBob. And I called his mom and said, "Do y'all know what SpongeBob even be doing? Why are these kids watching this?" So it's teachers be on, and they don't know because they're little kids. So it's up to me to say, "No, baby, we don't judge." Like,
Yeah.
I have a nephew that's gay, so I have to teach him, and that's what we told him. But still, at 7, he still talks when I go to that school. But no, he will teach your kids what you don't teach them.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
why it's up to us to teach them the right thing. Because if you don't have no type of interaction with them, and then you don't know what you might come up with.
Yeah. And don't
Because
tell them what lane they're going down.
raised them.
Exactly. Exactly.
TV raised them. If TV raised your kids in the street, you don't know what you got because you didn't have no interaction.
That's right. That's right. Cassandra, talk to me, Cassandra. What's on your heart?
Yeah, I lost my nephew who was living with schizophrenia last year at the hands of police. And he checked himself into a mental health hospital. He checked himself into a mental health hospital and ended up at a jail because of an incident between 5 patients who were all mentally ill in a mental health hospital. And he ended up being paid 7 times and died. So we are fighting for legislation right now in South Carolina to have some of the laws changed in how we deal with the mentally ill. So this is once again, this is a very touchy subject for me, and we have to remember that there are 2 different issues that we deal with. Mental health refers to anyone's state of mental and emotional well-being, right? Mental illness are diagnosed conditions that affects our thoughts and behaviors. So all of us may have mental health issues because that's just about how you feel about yourself, how you feel about what's going around. But mental illness is an actual diagnosis. You're suffering with bipolar, you're suffering with schizophrenia. So we need to make sure that we keep those separate, you understand, so that there's not a misunderstanding about the 2. So we all have mental health that we deal with because that's just our well-being, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about God. Mental illness is an actual diagnosis.
Exactly. Exactly. Rico, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
I'm paying attention to this little corny conversation in the group chat. So I'm gonna ask this question. We all know Emmett Till's story, and then we all saw that picture of his head and his body in that casket, right? Pretty traumatizing to me when I saw that somebody could do something like that, and then when I heard that you could look in one side of his head and see out the other side. Then I saw the pictures of how he looked before that happened, and I thought about his age, man, and I thought about, man, what if that was me when I was there? That was pretty traumatizing. Then I went down there to the scene of the crime in 2018, 2019, and saw all the stuff, the store where it happened, all that. Man, it did something to me on the inside, traumatized. So I made a comment earlier because Cassandra made a point. Human beings have emotions. We all do. If we don't, something ain't right. Chemically, naturally, something ain't right. Some kind of imbalance is off if we are emotionless. Might be mentally ill, desensitized. So now, Trump's stepson says Emmett Till's situation did not traumatize him. Wow, ain't it? You see Joyful J down now? Can you imagine somebody saying that they heard that story, saw those pictures, know what his mama went through, heard about his granddaddy not being able to stop them people from taking them out of the house, and then imagining what that little 11 or 12-year-old boy was going through and saying that didn't traumatize them? That sort of sounded emotionless. See, sometimes we could be desensitized, and that is a sign of mental illness. When you don't care or when you have no emotion about the loss of life. Doggy dog is all right. Maybe war is okay. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I say society is mentally ill. We have a problem because we have a culture that we embrace that has allowed us to get to a point where we can look at other people's pain and not relate. So that's why white people say, well, I don't understand where y'all coming from. I don't see why y'all feel so bad. Get over it. Because I'm looking in the inbox at people saying, I wasn't traumatized, but I'm mentally ill. Well, I guess that screws me. Well, no, maybe you just still looking at your white side. And your white side can't relate to the fact that black people were traumatized by knowing that their children might have to end up in that same situation one day. You know, even though it happened in the 50s, James Byrd Jr. happened in the 90s in Jasper, Texas. Ahmaud Arbery happened in 2020 in Georgia. That's a modern day Emmett Till. It was just caught on camera. So some people are traumatized because they know, you know what, there are emotionless people that really hate who I am because of my skin color. And when I face these things, I get anxiety. Wow. Even when I'm comfortable, even when them guys pulled up on that truck and confronted Ahmaud Arbery, I imagine he probably was going through some anxiety. When he started running and he saw that he couldn't get loose before he died, imagine how he felt. But those people that was after him didn't care. Oh, by God, they had to stop the Negro running through the neighborhood that's been breaking in all the cars. So, you know, it's funny. And I ain't gonna even say it's funny. It's really something to observe, really, how we say we judging people. People that are diagnosed as being mentally ill are being judged. You have to make a judgment call to say that that is a mental illness. And I'm making a judgment call. Society is mentally ill.
Okay.
If you could look at Emmett Till's body in the casket and know what happened to him and not feel some type of anxiety, trauma, or anxiousness, or just anger, you emotionless, you might be mentally ill.
Let me go to, I'm going to circle my way around. I hadn't talked to Toussaint in a while. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, you know, we have to have some kind of stability about this. And, you know, I started to come on and say, now, crazy and stupid is stupid. Different things, mental and insane. Insanity is stupid. Because some people are just stupid. And I'm sorry to say it like that, but it is what it is. And then there's just a person that's not really mentally ill. They are a narcissist. Is that a mental illness? Yes, it is. Okay. Well, there you go. Because they're control freaks. They like to make everything about them, and they get all tied up, and they wanted somebody else to feel what they feel, and they pass that hurt and pain down the line. And so I don't know. This is a really good subject, but then here's the thing: we come up with problems, but we don't have no solution because we've been kicking this can down the road for a while now. So now it has become normal to have issues, and it's so normal that we follow hurt and traumatized people, and then when we find it out, we call we call it a scandal. I'm just saying we do it in a way to, oh, we gonna just expose a person, but then we don't know that the exposure causes more pain and suffering, and it broadens it to family members because, and I'll say this and I'll shut up, we were told back at a certain time, just keep quiet, don't say nothing. You ain't got to tell everybody anything. And I'm going to say, go as far as to say this, and the Lord will work it out.
Wow. Let me go to Badger. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
I find it quite interesting, especially the comment that was made. Well, maybe because it's my white side.
Mm-hmm.
My anger is very bad. Matter of fact, I've talked to you about it, Raheen, and I've talked about it with Leonard because I have to work very hard at keeping it at bay, nonstop,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to act like a donkey in front of other people and my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want them to learn that if they're talking about a topic, to be angry about it. Because I want to see a better future. So to not really know a person 100% and to say and to throw a thing out there going you're emotionless without knowing how the person really feels is kind of judgmental in my opinion. And which is why I said what I said about the oil stuff, or why I was asking about that question, because you have so many people in America that believe about the oil prices, and you bring up facts and all that other stuff, and they don't want to believe it. Is that a mental illness? Are they mentally ill because they don't believe the facts? So when it comes to this white guy, since that's how people want to view me, you give me a chance to go after those people in power and the corrupt people that are the racists and have my back and will bail me out, I'll take them out myself. Don't speak for my emotions because I choose to keep them in check.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. We got a lot of things that's going on this morning, man. This is hey, he is okay. Um, I'm multitasking, so y'all bear with me for a second here while I make my way around here. Phone lines. We got I think we got Rosalind. Rosalind, are you with us?
Good morning.
Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Doing awesome. Blessed. Oh, y'all way out this morning.
Yeah, way out Wednesday. Hey, Rico said we couldn't get too way out. That was on Real Men Being Men last night. He said we get, but I think we matched it. I think we done something this morning. We way on out there, but
No, we
Rosalind,
ain't messed last night, man. Your wife and your daughter ain't mad at me yet, so we ain't messed last night.
woo! But we're talking about mental illness and how rampant, how rampant is mental illness here in the United States of America?
Oh, it's very rapid.
Mm-hmm.
More rapid, I think, in the prison system as well. I heard a couple people spoke
Mm-hmm.
on that, but as far as I was listening to a couple of people talk earlier about kids with ADHD. My daughter was diagnosed last year. So I did research on it. This is my opinion because the doctor that she goes to, and you have to research these doctors. You have to make sure that you're taking your kids to doctors that actually care. You have doctors that don't care, and you have doctors that do care. And the doctor that she's under, I can count, the black people that goes there. It's not very many. It's very few blacks that go to the doctor. The rest are, another race.
Mm-hmm.
But I watch my daughter. I'm her mother, so I be with her, more than anybody. And her father he was diagnosed with ADHD, schizophrenic, you name it, he had it. So it's definitely hereditary.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because a lot of my friends, they was against me taking my daughter to get her counseling, to get her help, or to get her on, like right now she's on a non-stimulant. She's not on a stimulant. She's on a non-stimulant. She's doing pretty good. But as far as her behavior and her thinking process, that was the thing that bothered me. We would go out to the store and she would run, she would hide from me, and things like that. She doesn't think like like a normal 7-year-old thinks. Like
Mm-hmm.
her mind is a 5-year-old right now. So you have to just do your research
Yeah.
and know your child to know if it's right to take them to get help or if it's not. Because I don't want her to grow up and she has a problem. I don't want her to grow up not getting help and then she end up in a system or doing things that's not that she didn't think about or I
Yeah.
could have got her some help earlier. I don't want that to be on me. So I just wanted to think about, wanted our community to start thinking about that because some of these kids actually need help.
Yeah.
Like seriously, they actually need help. And that's the reason why I wanted to come on and speak about mental health because it's growing, but we're not paying attention to it and catching it early. Because
Wow.
it is hereditary. It is hereditary.
Wow. It's a lot. It's a lot, man. This conversation, I didn't realize it was gonna be as deep as it is right now. But let me go. I wanted to go. Oh man, I just going to go to Brother Pete. He just hung up. I was ready to go to Brother Pete, but right now we got Toya with a T. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Get married. How you doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Toya with a T. We're talking about mental health, mental illness. How rampant is and we're talking about it because on the grounds of America, because that's where we are. Certainly, we know that it's across the board and around the world. But how rampant is mental illness here in the United States of America?
Oh, we all special. We all special up over here. What we are living. See, we have to think about the trauma for African Americans, and I'm quite sure that the descendants of the slave masters they got their own little mental issues too, whether it be trauma from having to endure the heat of what their ancestors did, or just that privileged mentality of thinking that you're better than somebody else. You got a mental problem. If you think that you got to kill somebody, murder somebody, steal somebody, rape somebody, burn somebody, set somebody on fire, you got a mental problem. But because of the things that go on in America, some of these wrongs we think is right and some of these rights that are wrong, we all got mental problems up over here. Every single last one of us. Doctors, lawyers, people who feel like, oh, I can only treat you if you got insurance. You got a mental issue.
Yeah.
You need to live in a certain area because we don't want these people living. I got to live in a certain area because the white folks don't want me, this, that, and the third. And the Latinos come over here. Oh no, I can't do this because this, that, and the third, this, that, and the third. That stuff is inhuman and unnatural. What? Who does what? You got to live in a certain area. You can only get a certain amount of money because of who you are, what you look like. No. And like I said sometime before, not only do we need reparations, all of America they got like they're operating under the Stockholm syndrome. Because we walk around thinking it's normal that a cop can shoot somebody unarmed. Well, you're a criminal. What? Oh yeah, somebody's gonna take my stuff. I'm gonna shoot them and murder them in the back. What? Oh yeah, I'm gonna beat my kids. Now again, I'm not wrong with beating, but are we really thinking about the fact? Let me come beat you right now at 50, however old you is. And if you cool and functional after that, then it's cool to beat a kid at 5. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of these things that we've gone through that was once culture, it's a mental issue. But let's get a little bit deeper and I'm gonna wrap it up. Let's go around the world. If you feel like it's okay to chop my hand off because I stole, you got a mental issue. If you feel like you want to stick, and this is what some Arabic countries do, to find out if you're lying, they're gonna take a hot coal, dip it in some grease, and put it on your tongue to see if it blisters. You got a mental issue. You want to cut my vagina off because you don't want me to be with nobody else. You got a mental issue. And then sometimes we say, oh, it's religion. Oh, cover your skin. Oh, no, wear everything all the way down from your head to your toes because we don't want other men looking at you and desiring you. And, that's against the religion. Where I'm at right now, all of those are mental issues. What? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really deep in humanity right now. Feeling like it's okay to have sex with young kids under 8. Feeling like, it's a lot of things we do over here that are mental issues, man. So the whole, every single last one of us up over here in the world, really, the only ones that got some sense is the animals.
Wow. And I'm going to take this opportunity right now to say again, this is the Morning Glow. This is the Morning Glow. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're talking about today, and if you want to be a part of the conversation, we'd love to have you as well. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. We're talking about mental illness. How rampant is mental illness here in the United States of America? Now, we know it's rampant all over the world, but we're talking because of the fact that we're here in America. We're talking about how rampant is it here in America. Cassandra, what's on your heart right now? Cassandra, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was trying to hit my mute button. Yeah, I'm not talking about anybody's mental health. You should know where you are mentally. No one else can diagnose you better than you can diagnose yourself. Mm-hmm. So if you know that you have a problem, and I definitely don't believe that your emotions that you should hinder who you are or stop who you are because people don't understand you emotionally. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're individuals. All of us have our own personalities. This would be a crazy world if everybody were robots and acting the same. Mm-hmm. So just because you're not, or you don't get your emotions involved in what's going on, and you do, because if you're calm, that's an emotion. I don't know why we're having a conversation about people's emotions, because we all have emotions, and you are operating in some type of emotion. Yes. 24/7, 365. Absolutely. Believe that. Please believe that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jay, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
I again am loving this conversation and the banter that's going back and forth, because it's healthy. At least we can understand one another. Yes. But everything is mental, because you can't do anything without thinking about it. Everything comes in your brain. Whether you want to get up and go to work or not, that's mental. Whether you want to stay home, that's mental. Whether your emotions, how you feel about someone, the way they treat you or what they say to you, everything is mental. Again, this is my preacher side. Forgive me, y'all. But the Bible, don't forgive me. This is just me. But the scripture says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, not against one another, black, white, brown, whoever, but we wrestle against principalities, that thing that's in our brain, that spiritual wickedness in high places, that thing that's in our brain. What we think is what we do. You can't do anything without thinking about it first. We think about sleeping, so we sleep. When we think about hatred, that's how we were conditioned from a child. We were conditioned as children that we should respect our elders. We were conditioned as children when every one of us in this room or that's listening to me can relate. I'm sure whenever a cop is behind you, we stiffen up, whether we have insurance or not, whether we are totally legit, we still stiffen up. Some of us, I will say some of us, I won't condition it to everyone, but a lot of us stiffen up, even if you're 100% correct. Great job, great insurance, great car, all of that, because you know that if you say the wrong thing, or it can be misconstrued that you said something wrong, you did something wrong, and there you are, the next person, the next victim on the news.
Absolutely.
So yeah, go for it. I'm sorry.
No. You good, brother. I appreciate what you went.
So again, like I said, I don't mean to cut anyone off, but mental health is so serious and so potent in America because of, again, what blacks and whites have been through. Not talking about not putting this in the racial content at all, but just saying, but we have been conditioned to, first off, respect our elders, then shut up and play or shut up and dribble, as we saw on sports and all these other things. All these things have conditioned us to be the people who we are. We go over and fight wars. When you go and fight wars in World War I, when you came home from fighting a war, you saw you saw a psychiatrist or someone like that, so that you can go back into society regularly. But us as black people, we kill each other every day. There's no psychiatrist for that. We see it, so it's becoming normal to us. We see on TV great fighting scenes and people getting killed. All this we see in our rap videos, all the money and all the bling bling, all this. All of these things are mentally conditioning us to want those things, to do those things, and to get it by any means possible. We
Wow.
sing in TV. Forget the police. I don't curse, so you know what I mean. Forget the police. So we automatically assume forget the police. So you'll see whenever the policeman comes and talks to you, we talk back or we talk real aggressive. Why? Because we've been conditioned mentally to hate the police. We've been conditioned mentally to rob that person, to get that nice car, to get the bling bling, to get the nice cars. So everything that we have done has been mental. And how have we gotten it? The mental side of it, we have been conditioned since the day we were born, and since even before we were born, our parents were born, our parents' parents were born, so forth and so on.
Absolutely, absolutely. There are so many different things, and when you talk about the mental, the mind is so complicated. The mind is so complex, man. There's so many different levels, and sometimes it connects, sometimes it doesn't. Charles, what's on your heart, brother?
What's up, bro? I'm gonna reply to what Joe Biden's son said earlier. All right, check it out, man. I Hey, and what Jay said, bro, you were so correct. And hey, thank you. Um, things are conditioned. People are conditioned certain ways. I'm not conditioned, and I haven't been conditioned to react a certain way off of what read in a book or see a picture of, because that's how my mom and my dad raised me. And my dad is from Alabama, so he's seen a lot of racial stuff. Both of my dads, my father and my stepfather. But I was taught not to be so emotional about things, but be logical about them. So me seeing a book or reading about Emmett Till does not traumatize me. It teaches me a lesson, but it doesn't traumatize me. It's different being traumatized and taught. A cop pulling up behind me don't affect me because I respect everybody. And you talking about a dude who's been in prison before. Now I might wonder why he's behind me like anybody else, but I'm not scared. Yes, I've been stopped enough, especially when I was in the military. I've been stopped enough and dealt with enough police that I know how to deal with people. So sometimes I look at it as a challenge because I'm that, I'm just built like that. That's how my parents built me. I'm not traumatized by people. You understand? But I was asked the question of why am I not traumatized about what whites did, but I'm more traumatized about what blacks do. Because, like, let's say put it on a football team. If I'm on a football team and the other team scores on me, I'm not traumatized. But if my team helped them score, then it bothers me. You get what I'm saying? If my team killing my own people, that should bother me more than their team. If we're in war and I'm shooting at them and they turn around and my own team shoot me, then I'm bothered. They're supposed to be killing me if we want to think like that. I'm bothered that the dude I'm standing next to, who look like me, supposed to be on my team, and we dress alike and we doing everything else. He turned around and shoot somebody next to me. I'm like, wait, hold on, bro. Now I'm feeling funny. So that's why I feel more funny when you got per se black on black than any other thing. Because I've never been, I guess, and I'm from, I was raised in Georgia, from Cincinnati. I've seen racist and raceful people, and they are who they are. They don't traumatize me. They don't control my mind like that. I don't let people control. I guess I'm a control freak. You're not gonna control my mind by your actions. You understand what I'm saying? So to that, it is a lot of mental illness going on around, and I can, but I won't. But I could say if you let people control your mind by their actions, that's a mental illness. But I'm not gonna say that. You get what I'm saying?
I hear
Because
you.
I'm being judgmental to people, like other people on here have been judgmental to people, and
Well,
that's it.
my thing is just right here, man. We truth of the matter,
Yep.
if we want to deal with the whole, if we want to deal with the whole piece of the pie, everybody is judgmental in some kind of way. And so,
Exactly.
to
Right.
point the finger one way or another, that I think that's very unfair because everybody is judgmental. Everybody get, they feel the way they feel, and they're gonna express the way they feel. They're gonna stand on what they feel, how they feel, or whatever. And that's how they're gonna roll. That's exactly how they're gonna roll. So, it's let me see who somebody just came in. See who that was just came in. Uh, um, Public Citizen just came in, but before he got here, we had Willa. Willa, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem. I'm doing fine.
Well,
How are you guys doing this morning?
hey, doing good, doing good.
Okay.
We're talking about
Mm.
We're talking about mental illness and how rampant it is. We're talking about the United States because that's where we are. But we certainly know that it's all over the world. But how rampant is mental illness? Well, what do you say to that?
I would say that it is very rapid, Raheem.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I always like to give an example and tell a little story. When
Mm-hmm.
I was 16 years old, it was back in 1974. I had that was after I had my baby. I was going to school. It was just so much going on in my life, but death was traumatizing to me. We hadn't had a lot of death in our family, so death wasn't something that I accepted then. And I think I had like two family members that had died, and I had a nervous breakdown. And I was put in a hospital called Hot Grove. And it was this young white doctor who was my doctor. And he listened to me for about 4 days. He listened to me. On the fifth day, he told me, he said that if you don't open up your mouth, you will be on medication for the rest of your life. Because
Mm.
that's something that they try to do. During that time, even now, because my granddaughter, she's going through something called anxiety. So yes, around that age it does happen. To this day, my husband say, I wish I could find a doctor that told you that. Just,
Mm-hmm.
just to, kind of throw some humor out there. But yes, it is. That's why you hear on TV when they got something traumatizing on the television uh, uh, that they have on the news, they'll tell you before it happens because they know that it would traumatize somebody out there. Because, like they said, that's our mentality. That's our mental thinking. So, yes, the mind is so important. It
Mm-hmm.
is. And when we're
Mm-hmm.
not putting anything good in it, yes, something affects us that's bad. So,
Yeah.
yes, that's my opinion right here.
Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to our public citizen. Public citizen just joined us. Public citizen, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm pretty good. Trying to adjust to the time change, so I'm still a little groggy. But I guess we're
Hey,
getting rid of it. Hopefully, we're getting rid of it once and for all.
yeah, and that's all I was about to say.
Um,
Yeah, they're saying they're trying to get away from the time change, so we be at this time all the time, which I think will be great. I think it'll be absolutely amazing. I would love that extra sunshine every day. But go ahead,
Let me
public
ask a
citizen.
question. Let me ask a question before you go. Who has the
Mm-hmm.
power to decide that? And who gave them the power to decide that?
Department
Mm,
of Transportation. You talking about the time? That's the
Mm-hmm.
Department of Transportation.
mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Wow. Go ahead, public
yeah, I
citizen.
think this. Yeah, I think the Senate already voted on it, and they want to do it. It's got to pass the House, and I mean, I was talking to this guy the other day. He's like, I guess whenever they do the time change, there's like an increase in car accidents and all kinds of stuff, And then it gets dark at like 4:30,
Yeah.
in the winter. That's ridiculous. That's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's talking about mental health. That's not good for our mental health. We need a certain amount of sunlight in our daily. People get that seasonal affective disorder where they get depressed and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So mental health problems are rampant, and I'm a mixed race person, and since I was an adolescent, I kind of suffered with anxiety and depression, and nobody ever diagnosed it or anything, but I had a lot of problems with it. I was a high school dropout. I hung out with the wrong people and made some bad choices and stuff. And I think, like I said in the comment, I think that if you're a non-white person in this society, you're set up to fail, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot going against you, and I get that. Not that white people don't have mental illness, believe me, they do. But yeah, it's a big problem. We need to destigmatize it. Give people the access to counseling and things like that. That would go a long way. Rika was talking about Emmett Till. Did you see the video of the guy? He's like a 50-year-old black man, huge, huge man, punching this elderly woman over 100 times. It just was released yesterday. Are
Mm-hmm.
you? talk about stigmatizing. Now, what are the Asians going to think about black people now after watching that video?
Wow.
So, there's a lot of mental illness going around, and the racism thing is not helping this. We need to learn how to love each other, and I don't know how to do it. I know I'm not racist, and I know, a lot of people are. A lot of people are racist, and it's all related. Racism and mental health and all that stuff is all related.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Good deal. Good deal. And publicist, I'm glad you're here, man, because you gave us the push-up challenge. I got a challenge for you and everybody else that want to join into this challenge. You ready for it? Publicist, you ready?
Ready.
Okay. I want everybody that would agree to walk with me on this right here for 7 days. I'm just gonna say 7 days. If y'all want to go longer, you can. But for 7 days, starting we'll start next week Monday. Go from Monday to Monday, so we'll be able to talk about it every day. As a matter of fact, let's start Sunday. So Monday morning we'll be able to talk about how we went and deal with every day. Drink nothing but water. No soda, no juice, nothing but water. And only liquid that you put in your body for 7 days, I want it to be just water. Who can I get to walk with me on that?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna forget, man. I'm gonna forget.
No.
I'm gonna forget, man. How about this? How about drink a gallon of water? Not only water, but how about drink at least a gallon of water?
At least a gallon of water every day. At least 1 gallon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
8 cups, I think. And it's supposed to be 8 cups, right? 8 cups of water a day.
No, we don't need to drink no gallon of water a day. He said drink water for 7 days.
Yeah.
I ain't drinking no gallon. I can drink water, but a gallon of water, heck no.
Okay.
That's what
the ones that can. Well, let's do it like this. Hold on, everybody. Hold on for a second. Everybody that's can. Let's do it like this. Everybody that can drink just water. I'm gonna drink just water. I'm not gonna drink juice or soda.
Water for 7 days.
Just water. I think.
Take pictures, y'all.
Huh?
Take pictures and post them on. Take pictures and post them on DK.
Yep. Exactly. And so that's the challenge I'm putting out there. Now, public citizens, I took your challenge. Or you taking my challenge?
Yeah, I drink like 90% water anyway. One thing I do that helps me drink my water is I put chia seeds in my water.
Mm-hmm.
And at least I'm getting some nutrition out of the water besides just getting hydrated. So yeah, I'm into that.
Okay, good deal. So
well, let me add this. Just like Charles put in there about the vitamin D and Public Citizen said about the sunlight and that being a part of our mental health, that drinking water before you go to bed helps too. In your body and with your mental health, because your body, all that plays a part together. Your body helps your brain helps your body. But I just read that men are supposed to drink 15.5 cups of water a day.
There it is.
And women are supposed to drink 11.5. So I think that might be a gallon. I might be wrong, close to it. So if a gallon sounds like a lot, imagine what we've been missing out on.
Exactly. So that's my. I wanted to kind of throw that in before we get out of here. I want to throw that in, and we're gonna start it. We're gonna start it on Sunday. So, and that don't mean, listen to that. Now, when I say we're gonna start it on Sunday, that don't mean y'all go out there drink all the sodas and juices and all kind of stuff before Sunday get here. Now we ain't trying to do that right there. And so yeah, that's I think that'll be a good thing for us all to do. And to do together as a group. I gotta do something. Hold on for 1 second. Let me get myself ready here. This is and watch your watch your bodies. And watch your bodies. As you do that, watch your body. But I gotta do this right here. Hold on. Hear ye. Everybody both near and far. This is Bishop. Bishop, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm blessed, man. You must have smart too.
Lord have mercy.
We got to get the sound effects going for you, Bishop. We got to get the sound effects going. And if Leonard was here, he'd say the good Bishop. So he ain't here. I'm going to go ahead and say it. The good Bishop. But Bishop, we talking about, man, Rico have a ball over there. Look at him. We talking about mental illness and how rapid mental illness. We talking from the United States because that's where we are. We know it's worldwide. But how rampant, Bishop, is mental illness here in the United States of America?
Man, mental illness is serious, and a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
you just can't look at a person and say, well, he or she has issues or mentally disturbed. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at some people, you'd be surprised. But it's very, very serious in America,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't take it light. I don't take it as a joke by any means when someone does have certain signs of it or behave a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to focus more on mental health and introduce legislation that will allow our individual loved ones that are given something to be able to get the proper assistance that they need. And I got a call yesterday. It's crazy. She said that, and one of the doctor that called about an associate of mine
Mm-hmm.
wanted my opinion about certain things and how I felt about it. And I just straight up, I could see some signs, but I was not, knowing how severe the situation was. So yeah, he really needs some help, and that's what they're focusing on. But mental illness in America is very serious, and we need to, make sure that we hold our different legislators accountable, so that these men and women can get the service that they need. And that's all I got to say about that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. We got, let me see who else we have. Toya with a T. We ain't came to you in a minute. Toya with a T. Talk to me. What's on your heart, sis?
Oh, well, I've been crazy, so I know all about being crazy. So anybody needs some help or assistance when it comes to being crazy, you can holler at me.
Mm-hmm.
But no, so so breathing exercise. Don't take that for granted. Okay. So first of all, listen. I'm not gonna do anxiety. There was a point in time where I was suicidal, and then when I thought about that, I was like, "Well, what I'm gonna kill me for? I'm gonna kill the person that did something to me." But see, the Lord done delivered me from all of that. Okay. But there were times, where I would go because I'm just angry. I didn't know how to express it, things like that, and I just wanted to smoke some weed. But they was like, "No, you can't do that. You gotta go get some help." So when I got some help, I told her the same thing. I'm like, "I just want some weed." She's like, "Wait a minute. We got to talk about some things first."
Mm-hmm.
And as I met this woman, they introduced me to a couple of things like breathing exercises. Phenomenal. And this body that they keep us so distracted from knowing, right? Some
Mm-hmm.
simple breathing in the morning will change the direction of your mind. The
Mm-hmm.
oxygen flow to your
Mm-hmm.
brain will release things in there that will not only give you more energy, but it will allow you to think more clearly and be more calmer when under certain situations. That's why some people are told to stop and breathe to 10.
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple of things that I just have to say from coming up that I believe in, and it's only because I'm a believer that my father would not allow people to do. When I was born a cocaine baby. They said I was not going to make it. They said I was born with asthma. There was a lot of things I wouldn't do. And when I was born, my father was not, you better not tell me that I'm sick. You better not tell me what I wasn't going to do because he's going to run you from around me. And he never talked to me about being sick. He never told me that I was sick. He never treated me like I was sick. He never claimed that I was sick. Matter of fact, you got asthma, get up and go run around the block. You understand what I'm saying? So there were certain things that my father spiritually did not claim. And I believe that has a large part on why I did not become sick. So
Mm-hmm.
let's fast forward to 4 years ago. I was diagnosed with internal bleeding. I felt like I was dying. I went to the hospital. They could not do anything for me because I was did not have insurance. I had to pray, and
Mm-hmm.
I was healed with
Mm-hmm.
time. And there were things that God showed me to help me heal my body. So I know inner natural healing is real. I know that. Period. I know that your body can do things and repair itself in ways that doctors cannot help you, whether it's anxiety or whether it's internal bleeding. That they wrote on a piece of paper said that if they don't treat me, I could die, and told me to go home and come back and okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this place that we work in, we have to also know ourselves. I heard somebody say something earlier. The doctor told you to open up your mouth or you're gonna die. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, before you allow someone to cause pain and harm to you, why are you the one uncomfortable? You need to be making other people uncomfortable. Why can't you speak up?
Mm-hmm.
Why
Mm-hmm.
can't you tell someone I don't like that? That's making me feel uncomfortable. Why do we have to subject ourselves to situations that we know for us is pressure, or whether it's for money, or because you're a husband, or because you're a kid, or whatever. I rather, subject myself to pain and causing mental issues than to break away from whatever the issue is. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, this is where God saves me,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
Because he gave me a choice. What God you gonna serve? You gonna
Uh-huh.
serve me, or you gonna serve the one that makes you feel like you gonna quit? You gonna serve me, or you gonna serve the one that's telling you you crazy? Are you gonna serve me, or you gonna serve the one that's trying to break you down when you got strength to overcome that? And that's what we got to keep in our minds. First
Mhm.
and foremost, let's renew our minds and say, hey, we're not gonna claim no sickness, no anxiety, no none of that. And then for two, look and seek for God to show you what it is that He needs for you to do to heal you. Period. And
Absolutely.
I'm done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We love to have your input. Monique, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Monique, we're talking about mental illness and how rampant it is here in America. What do you say to that?
I have to agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Cause, even, for myself, cause I've gone to, life coaches, you know, uh, and speaking with life coaches, you learn, a lot about yourself. And, I had an experience, at work, and, for 8 months, I was, I had a coworker that was, being, condescending. Uh, he was gaslighting. Every day I was complaining, to my supervisor, on what's going on. And I realized that I was getting this anxiety, and I never was an anxiety kind of person, and every time, me and this coworker, we would talk, I would get this pain in my chest, and, because of, the way he would, talk to me. And, and when and because of where I work at, they have this mentality of, oh, sucking up and, driving home, you're looking too deep into it. Then it got to the point where we had to have a, face to face, because prior to that, we were, zooming or on the phone. And sometimes you have more, gumption when you on the phone or when you on the Zoom. But, I felt like, okay, we need to see each other face to face. So let's see if this same, energy is there. And that same energy was there, supervisor was there. So, and it was bad. So, but eventually, me and this coworker, we ended up figuring out a way to, deal with each other, and got comfortable. So I dealt with that for 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few days ago, um, last week, you know, this coworker went back into their what I had to deal with 8 months ago, and something triggered that same feeling, that same anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm like, I'm not gonna let this coworker drive me crazy, And I went off on this coworker, even though
Mm-hmm.
for 8 months we went through something. I never disrespected them the way they disrespected me, but and for about 3 or 4 months we got along. And then all of a sudden they went back into their old ways,
Mm-hmm.
and and I just went off on them.
Mm-hmm.
Literally almost like cursed them out, and I don't
Wow.
do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I realized that there are certain things that can cause you to have these mental breakdown. So I believe, so in other words, I believe that, that we should, get some kind of mental maintenance. Even, for the ones who don't think anything wrong, because in my mind, I've always thought I was, okay. But
Mm-hmm.
I think certain, experiences, traumatic experiences, can, cause you to, go out of your, your regular, you know, um,
Element.
character.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that necessarily makes anything wrong with it.
Wow. It I don't think it make anything wrong at all. I'm listening here, and I normally don't stuff that goes on in the private chat. The people that's actually in the room. There's a chat that goes on the side, and they chat amongst each other. I every now and then I peek my eye to see what's going on. I normally don't pay a lot of people say I try to say something to you, Raheem. Sometimes I don't even pay attention to the chat at all. Cassandra,
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna throw a name at you, and I want you to tell me what you think about two names actually, and tell me what you think about them, and then find out whether I'm off, send them off course or whatever. What's that? What's that? Thomas, how you say it? Sewell? Yeah, that Sewell and Ben Carson. What come to your mind when I say those two names to you?
Wait a minute. I don't know who Thomas Sewell.
Well,
Who's that?
let's deal with Ben Carson.
Okay, I know who Ben Carson is.
Okay.
Mentally ill.
He's mentally ill.
I think so.
Wow.
I really think there's something wrong with him. No, really. No, I'm not. I'm not trying to be funny. If you listen to some of the things that he has said over the years, there is definitely something wrong. We think that because people are smart. Have you ever heard of the term educated fool? My
Yes.
grandmama used to say that all the time. Some
Mhm.
people are educated fools. Some of the brightest people, some geniuses, would be considered insane. Did y'all know that? There are people that they considered geniuses that they say they were really insane. So the fact that a person is educated, highly educated, got money, got position, that does not deter that mental illness.
Exactly. And
So
Cassandra.
when I think about Ben Carson, I really think that he has some type of mental health issue. And I thought that for years. That ain't nothing new.
And see.
But can I say to Monique, thank you for sharing your story, because people need to know, and even though it may not have been right to you, sometimes you just got to let people know, no, you're not going to step on me. You're not going to keep talking. The one thing I got a problem with, do not talk to me in a condescending manner. That sends me into outer space. Don't do that.
Exactly.
And no one has a right to make you feel less than.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
She said it. I was gonna make the comment earlier about they said that Einstein was crazy. Said Tesla was crazy. Tesla said he talked to people out of space, aliens. So I mean, some of the biggest geniuses and inventors and greatest people that are acknowledged today, historically, were considered crazy, insane, mentally ill. So we have to accept, like I said earlier, we have some people that are functional, very intelligent, but they're warped. They're in power. Trump, Bush, they're in power. We have so many people, and we tend to look at a person's achievements and say, well, you know what? They got to have it going on. They must know something. They must be humane. Well, Prince Andrew and Jeff Epstein successful, and they're rich, and they accomplished a lot. They got access to things that the average person doesn't have. Got a lot of power. Something was wrong with them guys, though. Yeah. And the rest of the powerful people that were screwing them little girls. But, Ben Carson was a surgeon, so he must have a lot of sense. We got to pay. See, just because they accomplished something, they may still be functioning with a mental illness. See, Monique said something key. Everybody needs help, even if they don't think they need help. That's where the problem comes in. That some people don't think they need help. Then, the other situation is that when you start talking about mental illness, we always have to remember that there are conditions that cause it. Some of them naturally, some of them are through genetics, some of them are through chemicals, chemical dependency, chemical imbalance, or maybe you took some chemicals. But then what about poverty? See, some people, they'll get, oh man, how can poverty contribute to mental illness? Poverty can contribute to mental illness. and what creates poverty. You know, everything has a trickle effect. So when you start thinking about America and the society and just the way things are, and why don't y'all just get over it and things like that, we have to understand that, man, you know, one thing caused another. And when you find out that poverty is a big impact, kids are 3 times more likely to have mental illness or mental health issues coming from poverty. Now, it may be the same thing of affluent kids. I imagine that affluent children may have some mental issues too, but they don't go diagnosed. Imagine that, them not going there because what they do or what they the things they behave or learn and this and that, that's considered normal. That's the standard. See, when you got crazy people setting the standard, then they can go in and say that we ain't crazy, y'all crazy, and y'all can't judge us. You know, and so you know, we have to keep that in mind. There are a lot of conditions that contribute to mental illness. It's just not one cookie cutter thing. You know, there's several things. You know what I'm saying? And poverty is a huge part of it. And so when you start trying to find out, well, how do we fix this mental illness? How do we correct it? First, we hold everybody accountable or address it. And then we have to admit these things, these conditions that exist that contribute to mental illness are influenced by people that don't care. Inhumane people, emotionless people.
Exactly. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Oh Lord, I got my eye on the chat over there in the side right now because a little something going on over there. I got my eyes over there. Jay, what's on your heart, brother?
Nothing much. I'm actually watching the chat myself. Again, I'm just, you know, again, mental health. Everything starts in your mind. Everything starts with your mind. God gave us all, or the Creator gave us all the ability to choose. And then in order to choose, you got to be in your right mind, or you have to be in a mindset or mind state, whether it be your right mind or the wrong mind frame. And unfortunately, so many of us, and because I was one who took the other way around when I was in a car accident and I almost killed myself. They all thought I was trying to kill myself. No, I was just I had too much to drink that night, and I was in the spirits. I'll say it that way. They were controlling my mind and controlling my actions, or if you will, that allowed me to get into the situation that I got into. But all of that, it was my choice to go out and have 1, 2, 15, 20, however many it was. It was my decision in my mind to get behind the wheel of a car. It was my decision to do the things that I've done. So again, all of this, it starts in your brain. It starts in your mind. And because we have choice, if you're not in your right mind, a lot of people are not in their right minds, whether it be circumstance, whether it be learned behavior or outside interference, that sometimes can be or is a major reason why mental health is so damaging here in the United States of America.
Absolutely. Badger, you wanted to say something, brother?
You know, part of just to give some of what's going on in the chat, in the private chat for the listeners, is a conversation between 3 of us, primarily. And
myself not included.
Yeah, Raheem's not included. I'm not saying who.
Yeah.
Well, in a nutshell, you know, there was a comment that one of the biggest comments that originally started it was a comment that was aimed at me, that I wasn't traumatized by something because of my white blood. You know.
Now we're talking about the being cross, the being cross, and
you know, and to me, which is something that me and Raheem both agreed on. I have to scroll all the way back up to it. So, you know, is the whole concept of there's this mentality of versus one another. And in this versus one another, you know, people automatically assume that because you're a race, you can't relate to the other. Every human being that I'm that I've known in America so far has dealt with some kind of trauma, has dealt with some kind of crime, unless they're so blessed in life that they have not experienced a single solitary thing that none of us have experienced. I've experienced the loss of a child. I've experienced watching my wife have to being told that she can never have a child again, otherwise it'd kill her. I have dealt with religious zealots that have tried to tell me and my family that we're going to go to hell because we don't believe the way they want us to believe. I have dealt with Native American people that say because I have white blood, I don't deserve to honor the traditions. And on the flip side, I have others. All I see all the time is these separation tactics that are taught to each generation of how to everything from, oh, well, since we're a poor and white family, we're going to have less privilege than the black people and other things. And then, so with me saying that, yes, I agree. A white person cannot experience the exact same thing a black person can.
Okay.
I'll 100% agree with that. Hands
Yeah.
down. Can we relate to it to some degree? I feel like we can to a degree, but never the same.
Wow, that's good.
So, however, none of y'all can experience what I have. I have brain trauma. I have autism. I watch my wife be sick every single day. I have a child that's autistic. I live in the state of Texas where they don't honestly care about the mental health of a human being unless you're a rich person. But I don't expect any of y'all to relate to what I feel in my shoes.
That's you.
That's me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit here and keep my mouth shut when I'm hearing comments like that, because I don't just hear it amongst black people toward white people. I hear it from white people to black people, from Asians to this group, from this group to this group. And I'm sitting here going, it's kind of interesting that this government that is supposed to be for land of the free is making laws making it hard for disabled people, black people, and all these other people to vote. Yet we're so focused on these racial problems that we're going to ignore all these. If it doesn't affect you, then I'm going to ignore it and focus on what I want to focus on.
Good deal. Good deal. We got a few more minutes, man. I want to go around and touch as many people as I can in the course of this thing. But let me go to Bishop for a second. Bishop, when Bishop, you there?
No, yeah.
What does Ben Carson, when that name is brought before you, what do you immediately think?
Man, I don't blame nothing. Ben is Ben. Ben does what Ben does. And when that's what I think he has something going on, I do. Even with an interview they had after his election and running, he said, I never ran for president. Sean Hannity, he was on Sean Hannity. And he said, I never ran for president. Sean said, man, 6 months ago. So that's clear in the gate, bro. You must off your rock.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think nothing about Ben, man.
So,
everybody's who they are. Ben is Ben, and I just let Ben be him.
Wow.
That's all I say.
Let me go. Let me see where I'm gonna go right now. I want to go to who haven't I spoken to in a while. Willa, haven't spoken to you in a minute. What's on your heart, sis?
I was just listening to everybody, and I was listening mostly to Badger when he was talking about the colors and the races and stuff like that. It's not only discrimination against white and black, but there are some black people that don't even like black. So you're gonna find in the Bible it tells us that that's gonna be here to the end of time. We just try to minimize it as much as we can. The God that we talked about yesterday is the God that gives us and prepares us for everything that we need here down on earth through that word of God. Now, certainly everybody don't follow it, but you as a disciple can reach as many people as you can. And that's our purpose.
Our purpose is to do that. We can't save the world. We can't save people. God has to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And if we believe that the God that we serve and the God that we trust every day, then certainly there has to be some kind of change.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the gentleman said, I just totally agree. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And certainly, there are people who are gifted that we can go to take our children when they're being depressed, when they have anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
to take them so they can be talked to as well. But me, myself, I always make sure that they are a Christian believing therapist. I just don't take my children or somebody to somebody who I know who's not a child of God. So that's my opinion, Raheem, that I wanted to put out as a comment.
Good deal.
Amen.
Good deal. We got quite a few people on with us, and let me go to Tucson for a second. Tucson, what's on your heart?
I don't know what else can be said. There's a lot. But you know what? We have to be careful what we say.
Yeah.
And there are some things that I'd like to say. Sometimes you push people over the edge by that little thing in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
That unruly evil called the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And people suffer from that suffer from mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
It's the trigger effect of something that either is said or done. I believe. I think. I don't know. I'm not too bright, but I can. You can hear it in their voice that they're going through. But then at the same time, you can't have within yourself almost a pity party to say, "Woe is me." There are always avenues that you go to, that you have to go to get past the pride, the shame, and everything else that goes on emotionally to get you some help. That's all you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And some people hide behind it in different ways, but let it be known that it comes out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It
Wow.
comes out how you relate to another person. So I'm just saying that because the old saying, hurt people,
Yeah.
we do it over and over and over again, and some don't even realize it.
Okay. Let me address something, and my thing is, man, this is crazy. Don't do it, Rico. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. 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 It's amazing. I just say this right here. It's amazing how we all could be so old but act so young and appear so childish at times. It's amazing. It's amazing how a grown person could be so adult but act so childish in some of the things that they do. That blows my mind. Yeah, Rosalind, what's on your heart, sis?
I just wanted to, bring to attention that just by us being on this platform, with Raheem, this is therapy
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people are afraid to open up and talk and speak, on things. So this is therapy. So Raheem, you are actually helping a lot of people.
To God be the
But
glory.
just to reiterate what Tupac was speaking about uh narcissistic personality. We have a women empowerment organization because I was per se a victim of a guy I got involved with when I was 16. He was narcissistic. We got married at 19. I didn't know anything about him being narcissistic, and it caused me to go through all type of trauma. And just want to bring awareness about narcissistic. That is a mental disorder. For somebody to think that they have control over you and to make you feel like this is how it's going to be. That is a mental illness. So just want to we got to bring awareness to the different mental illness and self care and etc. We have to start talking about stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
Raheem, I really want to thank you for allowing me to come on here because a lot of times I don't have the edge to speak about things, all the different topics. This is therapy for us.
Praise God. To God be the glory. So thank you for that. I definitely appreciate you, and definitely appreciate you being a part of it. So thank you. Thank you as well. Jay, what's on your heart, brother?
I agree totally with what the young lady just said. This is therapy. There's the reason why it's not while it's swept under the rug because no one wants to bring it up. No one brings up mental illness. I mean, now you're starting to see it on television and things like that, but no one brings up mental illness within the household, any household, black, white, Hispanic, whoever. And because like I heard someone say before I got on today, I was taught back in the day as well. What goes on in this house stays in this house. But you may need someone else to talk to because therapy is getting it off your chest, getting on how you feel off your chest. If you bottled up anger year after year or day after day, sooner or later you're going to snap. I mean, pressure bust pipes is you're saying. The same with this because you don't talk about it because it's not a conversation that repeats itself daily or as much as they can so that we can come to some kind of resolution. We're going to always have this problem and that barrier because we're not going to want to speak to the another race. The other race is not going to want to speak to us on a real level so that we can really get to the solution to the problem or to the situation.
Exactly.
I want to throw something in this.
Go ahead.
That's okay. If folks keep fighting and throwing hate toward one another, I 100% agree with Jay. The problems will never get solved.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Rico?
You caught me, man. I just about to run off and use the restroom, man. It gets to a point where you don't even have to give certain things energy. You start hearing people make certain comments and you understand they get it. And then, you see the proof in the pudding by the way that, certain people act. So, you just have to, observe things and look at them for what they are. And I'm saying that as far as pertaining to this chat that we had going on over here, man. I stopped paying attention to it a long time ago. The thing is, we have to be accountable or sometimes just break down and admit our human flaws. I saw that video of that man beating on that Chinese woman yesterday, man, and it ticked me off. I couldn't even finish watching it. I was like, man, why would they even put something like this on video?
Thank you.
I've seen so many. I mean, why would they put it out on YouTube like that on the internet? And I've seen so many instances, man, where people were, children were mistreated, abused, all races, it doesn't matter. And I would get highly ticked off. But guess what I got to admit? When I see it happen to somebody like me, it hurt just a little bit deeper. Because I can relate to that a little bit more. I hear a lot of situations that people that go on with people, man, and I fight and I stand for it. But see, when it happens to somebody black, that's about my age, that look like me, that probably came from my neighborhood, we all have different experiences, individually and as a community. As a groups, we have different experiences. That's what America's built on. So, I'm going to base my opinions the way I base them, but at the same time, I'm going to hold myself accountable. I judge people sometimes. We all do.
Yeah.
People that are diagnosed as mentally ill are being judged. Because mentally ill people could easily say, I ain't crazy. Who are you to judge me?
Yeah.
I'm perfectly normal. I like sleeping in Pampers. I like dressing up like a baby, even though I'm 50 years old. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's so many different things that people do that they accept that is normal. And they are judged or diagnosed. So I might just stop saying I'm a judging people. I'm diagnosing people. How about that? Might say it sound a little sweeter. But we do have to hold ourselves accountable and admit that we all do subconsciously relate to people and things that affect things that most are similar to our own situation. Doesn't mean we don't have compassion or empathy. Doesn't mean that I'm emotionless and I'm not traumatized because of what happened to Emmett Till, because guess what? I'm just as traumatized about what happened to them girls that Jeff Epstein was transporting.
Wow, good deal.
It don't mean that I'm racist just because I don't speak it the way Al Jolson may want to hear it. Let me get off of this thing, man.
Toya,
I'll be right back.
Okay. Toya with a T, what's on your heart, sis?
Yeah, no, I mean that's right. I think first and foremost, we gotta be cool with being for real and being honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of us don't like to be for real and be honest. We like to, I don't know, if you crazy, you might, I know you crazy and things might seem normal to you, but it's really not, right? So when we start to have or acknowledge some of these issues, we don't want to acknowledge that one, it could be our child, brother, mother, father, sister, aunt, or uncle that can be experiencing it, right? And then we
Mm-hmm.
don't get the proper help. And then not only for two, we hate to have to face the fact that maybe we may have helped cause some of that insanity by culture. You know what I'm saying? By just how we live, and the reality of life can sometimes make you feel the need to want to alter who you are. You know what I'm saying? Society right now makes you feel like you want to be somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And as individuals, that's a mental issue, and it can just spur in many different ways. Depending on just whatever the traumatization is, and who that person, how they're going to cope with it. You can't call that out. But I think at the end of the day, as individuals, despite what may be going on, you got to call on your God.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only person that is going to be able to keep you on a straight line throughout of all your insanity.
Absolutely.
Because the devil throws any and everything at all of us at all times, and all of
Mm-hmm.
us got different things. So if you find yourself in a place or you see somebody that may be in a place, tell them to call on their God, because
Absolutely.
that will be the only thing that will help them through it.
Absolutely. Public citizen, what's on your heart?
Yeah, I really agree with that, with what Toya said there, about how, we have to, how it's hard to find your identity sometimes, and, especially when there's so much, there's so much in society that's guiding you one way or the other, and it's often guiding you the wrong way, a lot. But I mean, I wrote a lot of comments. The conversation's been all over the place
Mm-hmm.
because it's way out Wednesday. I get it.
Yeah.
But like, my big point, my main point that, like, now that I'm a grown man, 51 years old, lived a pretty full life, you have to have a base in life, and for some people it's religion. Uh, that doesn't work for me. I do believe in God, but and I think the Bible is full of wonderful wisdom, and I look to it. But at the end of the day, my fundamental principle is just be humble,
Mm-hmm.
and try to spread love. And I know you do that on this show, and that's one reason I tune in, because I know that's your philosophy, and you spread that, and that's the solution.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm gonna change up just for a second, and then I'm certainly coming right back. We got a few more minutes before we at the 3 o'clock. Before we at the 3 hour mark. We got 6 minutes actually. But Cassandra, I need to ask you a question, Cassandra. You there?
Yes, sir.
How in the world, Cassandra? How in the world you gonna say you're not gonna ride on that bridge with me?
What? You got the total wrong point about that bridge. Who makes a bridge like that, and why? And I mean, I got a thing about heights, so it's no way I would ever ride on that thing. And what if your transmission slip or something? I don't even know your brakes go on. Well, I mean, it's insane. But you know what? Asian people, they are some of the most creative. They make stuff that blow my mind all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I watch them closely. They
Mm-hmm.
do stuff that really blows my mind. But I know you're ending, but can I just say, first of all, I didn't want to say yes, I'll do the water thing because, I don't do water.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to say that I'm going to drink nothing but water for 7 days, that's a challenge,
That's good.
big challenge, because I'm not a water drinker. But
Mm-hmm.
I think I might try. I think I might try.
Good.
And then the other thing is, when it comes to mental health, transparency is so important, and especially in our community, we have learned to hide our feelings, our emotions. We were taught that, and now it's an innate part of us that does more damage to our community than anything else. And I'm not talking about any other community.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking about our community. So now we have to learn how to open up, be transparent, so that we can be healed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Charles, what's on your heart, brother? You muted. You muted. You muted. Can't hear nothing you're saying. You muted.
Oh, appreciate the show, man. Oh, let me get to this real quick. I would challenge anybody to read Dr. Ben Carson's books. Um, any one of them. If you think he's crazy or not, whatever. But read about this dude, what he did, what he's doing for blacks, young blacks, helping them get to schools and stuff like that. Um, when he was praised back when he was the first in Jet Magazine and Ebony. But when you switch up how you thinking and to him, he said he woke up and learned that these things and these other things help him think the way he think now. Same thing with Thomas Sowell. Same thing. He was a very, very, very deep and hard Democrat until he woke up and learned different. A doctor. He's a doctor also.
Okay.
These people are counted as being crazy to people who don't agree with.
Charles, let me ask you a question because it's and we got to get out of here. We got a few more minutes before we get out of here. Actually, less than 5.
All right.
But let me ask you this: you said that Dr. Carson, very intelligent, was a Democrat at one time, and then you said the other gentleman Thomas was also a Democrat at one time, and they was viewed in one way. And I don't know the history. And in order for me to speak on that, I got to go in and do the research and find out what it is. So I'm not going to speak on that part. But do you think they became more intelligent? Do you think they wised up when they became Republican? Do you think that made them a better people?
No.
Okay,
No.
because you said you said something to the fact that that made me lead to that thought. So do you think do you think as a whole, um, Republicans see things a little clearer than Democrats? Do you think so?
Certain ones do. Certain
Mm-hmm.
mostly when you got 90% of a people that think one way, then you have to look at that people and wonder why is 90% of them thinking that one way. And I'm never a crowd follower. And
Mm-hmm.
if it because you all even know that in the Bible it says that it's going to be hard to get to heaven, so most of the people are not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if 90% of the people do something a certain way, and that people are still losing out
Mm-hmm.
in the land that they're at,
Mm-hmm.
then
Let me,
something's about what the 90% of that people thinking is not working.
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
What do you? I understand what you said. What do you think? What do you think, Charles? And give me your very quick answer. Give me your very quick answer. I want to touch some more people. I got just a few minutes left.
Yes, sir. Yes,
What
sir.
do you think about the situation that's going on in Wisconsin right now? They got this big campaign. Pretty much the whole government in Wisconsin is still fighting the Stop the Steal movement, and they're still
Stop.
saying that Stop the Steal,
Okay, still.
Stop
Okay.
the Steal. Yeah, they're saying that the election was stolen, and they're still fighting to this day. And you have a couple of Republicans. As a matter of fact, I saw a young lady. She's a Republican out of that
Mm-hmm.
area, and she said that no, our people need to wake up and deal with the reality. What do you think about them still fighting on saying to stop the steal? Do you think it's
Man,
legitimate? Do you think they have? Is there a fight there?
them folks hustling backwards, man. They
Mm-hmm.
fighting a battle that they can't even win.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even make sense at this point. You understand? When you move it, it's time to move forward. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And things like that. That if it was stolen, it was stolen. It's gone. It's gone. It doesn't matter now.
Mm-hmm.
Whether people believe it or not, I think it's kind of silly to keep going on with that. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
fix the problem, then do things to fix the problem for the future. But that right there, that's kind of crazy to me. I mean, I know
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about mental illness, but
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy that people
Mhm.
are doing that, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Bishop.
I could talk across the board fairness. That's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let me hear you. Let me hear you say this. I'm gonna go to Bishop. Let me hear you say Biden is the president. Don't.
Oh,
You
yeah.
ain't gotta do
Yeah,
that.
certainly.
I'm just picking at you, brother.
Oh, yeah,
Don't. You ain't got. You ain't got to answer. You ain't. No. It was rhetorical. It was rhetorical, brother. Rhetorical.
the rhetorical prices are too high. Rhetorical
Re-
chicken is too high.
Bishop, what's on your heart? Rhetorical. Bishop, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, you know, this has been, I've been holding this for a few minutes.
Uh-oh.
When you're dealing with the mental illness issue. And my mind went to the movie Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump said, Mama said life is like a box of chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what you're gonna get. You never know who you're dealing with. You never know what they're gonna come out. It's gonna come out of their mouth. And that's the thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
As it relates to this past election and what's going on in Wisconsin, people need to wake up and smell the coffee.
Mm-hmm.
The man has been in office, man, since 2 years now, and they still come out. The election was stolen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, it was stolen. He's gone. Shut up and let's be prepared for the next election.
Mm-hmm.
That's a clear indication of mental illness. I don't care what nobody say. What the heck am I fighting something that happened and it's done and we're moving on and still fighting on that perspective?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Exactly.
And if you say it was rigged, so be it. It was rigged. It had been rigged when he ran too.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't just get rigged. You knew it was rigged. That's why you carry on the way you carry on. That means you let everybody know that there was some falseism or some ill practice being done when you ran for president because you just opened your mouth. Now, if that ain't somebody crazy, I don't know what crazy look like. I'm like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, I don't know what crazy look like. That'd be the case.
Wow.
That's the case. Somebody having some serious problems. If you don't think like that, you just let the left hand over the right hand that they're doing all this time.
Mm-hmm. Good
deal. Keep your mouth closed. Bring your raise. Let's be done with it.
Exactly. Jay, anything on your heart before we get out of here?
Yes, it is, my brother, and everyone that's on the broadcast with us. At the end of the day, like I said before, it's all about your mind. And for me personally, I know that as the Bible says, I when I think about goodness, I'll try to say it so it's not Bible-ish, if you will, because some people aren't believers, but positive thinking, you're going to be more positive. For me personally, when I think of the goodness of Jesus and him sparing me from a car accident where I died twice, that's more of a reason for me to get up happy every day. I'm like, you were singing the songs the other day. You were the songbird the other day, Raheem, and Mary, as she said before, sings this song, "Good Morning, Beautiful." Every morning I say, "Good, hey, thank you. I'm up. I feel good. Even if I don't feel good, it's going to be a great day. Why? Because I'm up." So for me, mental health is very important for me. So I have to, guard my own mental health and make sure that I'm intact and I'm good every day.
Good deal. Good deal. Rico, what's going on at 3:00 today, sir?
Hey, let me say this, man. I agree with Jay. I'm doing the same thing, and then I want to shoot a shout out to Rosalyn, man, because she gave you some props, and me and Jay, we applauded, and I could co-sign for that. This broadcast, man, this platform is therapy. Raheem will tell you, when I first started coming on here, man, I think like within that first month, I broke down twice.
Mm-hmm.
And I told everybody, man, this is therapy for me. This is therapy. And since then, what I'm saying, it's been working and pretty good. And I ain't broke down no more. You ain't fixing to get me like that no more, but it's been working, obviously.
Yes.
So, it's good to see that other people also acknowledge from other walks of life. I don't know Rosalind. I don't know Jay. I don't know these different people that still realize what you're bringing to the table. So, once again, man, we got to applaud you for that, because everybody needs therapy. And even those that don't realize they need it, they on here getting it. So, big hand to you, my brother. Great. And with that being said, I want to say that if you missed today's show and would like to see it or hear it in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dklmediagroup.com.
Yes, exactly. Good deal. Good deal. Hold on. Willa!
Raheem!
Willa!
Amen.
I'm
ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready to receive the Holy Ghost.
Well, let's do it. Let's
go, Willa. Amen. Let's go. Father God in heaven, Lord, we come into your throne boldly this morning,
and we come in with confidence and expectations, Lord. Father, we're asking you to continually guide us. Give us wisdom and understanding, Lord. Show us your way, oh Lord. Father, thank you for the gift that you've given to Raheem, oh Lord, to help those who don't know that there's still hope, Lord. There's hope in Christ, oh Lord. Father, we know that there's none like you, oh Lord. Father, we trust you and we trust no man. Father, you said it in your word that no weapon formed against us will prosper. And Father, we're asking that you help us, oh Lord. Help us through this 7-day challenge, Lord, that Raheem put on everyone, Lord. Father, we know we can do it as a unit, Lord. And we asking you to help us, oh Lord. Keep continuing to protect us. Allow your angels to be around us. Allow the Holy Spirit to come in upon us. Father, we love you, honor you, and glorify you in Christ Jesus' name. Amen. Amen and amen.
Amen. Amen. Rico.
Yeah, you a trip, man. Talking about some drink, some water, and nothing else, man. I need some apple juice or something, man. I told you I'm a sugar addict.
I love my coffee in the morning.
No, sir. No, sir. Strict
No
water.
coffee.
7 days. 7 days. 7 days. Nothing but water. And I guarantee you, I promise you, each and every y'all gonna feel so much better, man.
I drink a lot of water. Man, but I can't drink water only. I got to have something with some flavor on it when I eat, man.
There's water in my coffee.
Hey, Rico.
Pure water.
Go ahead.
Try cutting some slices up and putting it in your water. It actually makes it taste really good.
What slice you talking about? I was doing
cucumber
it one time.
They say cucumber.
My wife makes me cucumber water.
Okay.
And it's awesome.
You can put fresh fruit in your water. You can put apples in it. It'll taste really good.
Yeah.
I did have some good coconut water.
There it is.
But strictly water for 7 days, and I guarantee you, day 3 or 4, y'all gonna feel it's gonna be full because it's gonna wash all that stuff out you, man. Yes. We got so much stuff in us, man, that shouldn't be there. It's gonna purify. It's gonna wash it out. Cause when we drinking them sodas enough, we just add to it. So just drink that water. Just and every time you go to the bathroom, man, it's gonna wash more stuff. It's gonna wash. You can see your urine get clearer and everything, man. All kind of things.
See it all the time. All the time. We need to do a sunlight challenge too. Maybe next month do a sunlight challenge, man. Everybody go outside and get at least 2 hours of sunlight a day.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. I love that. So my thing is, we got a lot of things that we as a family we want to do as a family, man. So let's do this together, man. Let's do it together. And I got something else. I don't know if y'all joined the group that I made up about a week or so ago, called Saturday Savers. Saturday Savers. I want you, if y'all can, it's on Facebook called Saturday Savers. If you get a chance, join that group as well. Man. I want to have it where we can actually go out there on a Saturday. Everybody can pick one weekend on Saturday, or you want to do the whole month, you can. But we're gonna do it over time, and we're gonna go out there and just do something good for somebody, man. Just because it's the right thing to do. Help somebody in some kind of way on a Saturday, just because it's the right thing to do. Come back and we're gonna post it. We're gonna post it on Saturday Savers. We're not gonna say anybody's name. Yeah, we are gonna post it. We're not gonna say anybody's name. We're not gonna put any photos about them and stuff like that because we don't want to shame anybody. We don't want to shame anybody, but we want to acknowledge. Even if we say something like, "I met John J. whatever," just fictitious name, and this is what happened. He was in this situation. I helped him do this right here, and we just want to acknowledge the fact that and like I said again, we don't want to use anybody's photos, anybody's video, anybody's name because we're not here to shame anybody. We just here to do good things and do good deeds. So if y'all get a chance, go join Saturday Savers. Go join that group, Saturday Savers. Anybody have anything before we get out of here?
Hey, y'all guys.
Hey, everyone be blessed in life.
Absolutely.
Everybody stay blessed.
Absolutely. It is now 10.
And garlic. That's great.
No. Say it again.
Lemon, ginger, and garlic. I mix it up and I boil it, and then I use distilled water, and then I strain it out, and I drink a cup every day. That's great for your blood sugar and your blood pressure.
Add that into the thing. And I put it on the post. So add that in the chat on that. I poured it off and put it in the chat. I put it on the page so people could do it, or just put it on DKM media, DKM 1.1 radio 1.1. Put it on there too, and that way we'll have that. Listen, it's been a great broadcast, man. We got to get out of here, man. We 9 minutes over. We 9 minutes over, y'all. We got to go. I want to thank everybody for joining us. More than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It's now 10:21. You're about to exit the Morning Glow, but before you go, I want you to do me 2 favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number 2, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And if we shine some of this light of you from the Morning Glow, take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other, and please be blessed. Saturday Savers, y'all.